Hi, everybody. I know this is last minute, but I was talking to my friend, and they had alerted to me, Winks actually, and they should be coming along. They alerted me to an article that Jimmy wrote, and kind of on, I was on Taylor's channel, and we were doing a little. Uh, Here. When I was on Taylor's channel, we did a little throwback to some of Betty Dangerous. That's her Nana Dama right there. A little throwback to her steamy erotic novel and stuff like that. And I haven't covered them in a long time because I got really bored of their same regurgitated. Oh boy, hi fi, your face is really frozen there. I got a little tired of the regurgitated stuff and the information they kept putting out and things like that. So I got bored, quite frankly, covering them, and they keep regurgitating the same things. And yeah, it's just, they're really, really boring. But what drew my attention to them today was Jim wrote an article, and I'm going to pull it up and we'll start there first, real quick, and go through it. And then we'll review the most recent RadPod because I haven't watched it in, oh gosh, I don't know when the last time I even covered one of their rad pods, maybe like a month and a half. I don't know. It feels like forever. And we'll see if they're still saying the same thing. Still doing my live tonight with Stefan Quacks at 8 p.m. We're going to cover Ted Gunderson and all of his harmful conspiracy theories. But I did want to touch on this because of what Jim did. So I'm going to pull up his article, regrettably. Let me get that real quick here. Okay. And it ties in to Dr. Stephen Hassan, citing a pedophile who has a warrant up for his arrest. It all links over to that too, interestingly enough. Okay, let's see here. Where did I put all of my open side panel here? And I put it all under, okay, here we go. So Jim wrote, let me pull up, Winks did some really good threads to go along with this too. Okay, and the first article he wrote was, okay. So he wrote this article, and I'm going to pull up his tweet too because he thinks it is a really important article that he wrote. It's going to change the world. Okay. Get to this. Jim Stewartson. I apologize because this was kind of on the fly here. He has so many accounts that are fakes of his. It's funny when I pull it up. Okay, share this tab instead. Yes, I am blocked by Jim Stewartson. It is mutual. Okay, so he tweeted. Let me make sure that's big enough. Let me make it a little bigger. Hi, Winks. Hey, he's saving the world all by himself. I know, right? Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. And there's not a lot of people on this channel yet. So oh, I'm zoomed in on the wrong. So I'm leading people to this channel, but I really want all my stewing on content here and to keep everything else separate because it's just a wild world for people. So I'm trying to kind of keep them delineated away from each other. Okay. Which tab was I on? Oh, okay, over here. Let's make this a little bigger. Okay, here we go. So Jimmy says, you know that jumpy feeling after an accident or a horror movie? That's hypervigilance, which is a healthy adaptation to trauma. If something bad just happened, something worse might come next. But it's also short circuits your brain. Looking at you, MAGA. Now, I also want to go down. I don't want to read all of his stuff. He wrote above his other article too. God, he's so. Where's the million word one where he says, oh, here it is. No, he had another tweet about a million words that I came across. He just writes so much. So, anyways, we lead to this article here. Share this tab instead. Now, this is really what got me going and really pissed me off. Like when Wink sent, or when I saw her post that she had wrote about this, I was like, how bad could this one really be? It's not going to make me that bad, right? No, I was wrong. As soon as I started reading it, I saw red. Now, you have to remember, for anybody who's new or you're listening, Jim is a cis white male that sits on his couch, typing and tweeting and doing his podcast, bloviating and telling everybody else what they should do. I don't know, it's 20, 30 years ago, he created an ARG, pretty cool. And he has ridden his coattails of all that. He's tried all kinds of different things over the years online, and he landed on QAnon in August of 2020 after all the other researchers had already been into it. And that's fine. You can come into the field after other people are, but he was the one and only one who had solved it. He has no expertise in mental health at all. So the way he speaks about this is alarming in the way he's putting out this information. I think the search function on X is broken. I can't pull up anything. Yeah, I was having some trouble too, Wings. That's why I bookmarked some stuff, but when I was trying to search a few things, I was having some trouble. So I couldn't find that million word thing that I had seen. But Jim has no expertise in the mental health field. He's a tech bro, a failed one, but he has no expertise in what he's writing about. So like even when I talk about it, I did work in the mental health field and I have that training, but I still go out and cite reputable sources, or I would talk to somebody when I'm writing about this, but Jim always sees himself as a higher authority. He knows all. It's just Jim. Jim's right about everything. So we have his article here. He has this fancy drawing he probably made with AI. He does that a lot. I'm not real sure. Imagine you've just come out of a movie theater having watched a violent horror film, and a friend grabs your arm from behind to say something. What happens? Well, you might yank it away, scream involuntarily, or run before your brain even has a chance to ask, "Who is that?" That feeling of being jumpy after a car accident or after watching a horror movie is hypervigilance, a natural biological response to trauma. Your brain, sensing a threat, has switched into survival mode, which is a sensible evolutionary adaptation, right? If something bad just happened, something worse might come next. What's happening neurologically is that your prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain responsible for rational thinking, gets bypassed. Instead, your older, faster threat system takes over, specifically the amygdala, which is responsible for choosing fight or flight. And Jim's explaining it to you. Then he goes into B.F. Skinner and the operant conditioning theory, which Jim will tell you he didn't go to college. College wasn't for him, book learning, none of that stuff. He slapped the bass though. Like he really liked to play music. So he's going to go through all of this. And then he goes through triggered and Jim plays with people's emotions. So he's going to talk about Nazi Germany. Then we go through the Jim Jones, which is another one of his favorite things. And let's just take a peek at what Jim cites for Jonestown. Let's click on this link. Where do we go? Oh, he cited Wikipedia. Okay, that's typical of Jim. And inherently, there's nothing wrong with Wikipedia. I use it myself, but I go down to the bottom where the links and sources are, and I pull those sources, but not Jim Stewart's. Okay, let's see. We have ISIS. We have this PDF file he cited. I don't know how much he read about it. I can't, get in Jim's head. Then we go down to QAnon MAGA. The base of QAnon messaging relies heavily on graphic narratives and videos of child abuse, satanic rituals, and elite depravity. Epstein Pizzagate. MAGA forums are replete with violent, excessive brutality. Videos of beatings and murders blamed on Democrats, BLM, or Antifa are endlessly circulated. It's all a violent, constant threat that has been permanently affixed to their reality, creating a beaten down, hypervigilant cult largely incapable of rational thought. And this is where I got really upset. America, exhausted and jumpy. As I wrote, here are the 5 steps, as I see them, for how America has been brainwashed. Brainwashing's not real. If you go on, I'm not sure where it's listed on this page. It's in my podcast episodes. I think it's maybe the last episode of the Dr. Stephen Hassan series. It deals specifically with brainwashing, where that came from. I got highly reputable sources. People looked for it, where it came from Edward Hunter, CIA operative. It goes through the whole history of brainwashing. But if you watch that, if you don't want to learn about Dr. Stephen Hassan, that's fine. But at least watch the brainwashing thing to get caught up on that. All right, back to Jim. Okay, where was I? Oh, so many tabs. Okay, here we go. So we're actually going to skip over, like he's just summarizing it here. So now we're going to go to Jim's 5 steps. Okay. So, what does Jim have? Mimemic rage, why Epstein leads to sacrificial violence. January 6th was a model of how Trump's followers react to decompensation. Object of emotion. Now, this is Jim's new thing. I guess Steven checked in on him, and it makes sense that Jim would because Jim's thing is to go with the tide, not his own research or to be an individual. He like sees what's going on in the news and he latches onto it. So Epstein's a new thing. So that's Jim's thing. Oh, thank you, Winks. Oh, hold on for a second. My husband needs me. He has a hurt knee. I got to help him real quick. I am sorry, everybody. Oh, he spilled soup. He has, he's on crutches. We have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Hunter's helping him clean it up too. He got a little bit of it. Whew. There's a big container of soup from the fridge. He tried his best. Okay. Ooh. All right. Where was I? Okay. We have an appointment tomorrow to check the leg again. Okay. All right, Jim. Okay. All right. I think I was saying Jim latches on to the next big thing. And of course, this was it. All right. Here we go. Mimesis, I guess, is a process of mimicry. which is one of the most important ways that we learn. This is echoed in numerous cliches like monkey see, monkey do. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery and so on. Blah, 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 blah. So he goes through a philosopher and historian, scapegoating, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to read all this gobbledygook. Keeps going on. The important part we're going to get to the 5-step process of online brainwashing. So we have the systematic brainwashing of a large minority of the American population is both the most glaring and least understood problem affecting our society. Trump's followers are not simply being radicalized, they have been psychologically captured. They are prisoners in their own minds. I hate this. And hi, Mina. Oh, thanks, Winks. Yeah, his leg is really, really bad. He's been messed up. It is horrible. MAGA supporters are not brainwashed. They have their own free will and they are making these choices. Like, this is nothing, like, they do this on their own free will. And Rich Logis of Leaving MAGA will tell you so. That really pisses me off. Okay. Now, so Jim goes on, and these are his 5 steps of how he says it happens: red pilling and trauma, dissociation, salvation, refreezing. I know he gets that from Dr. Stephen fucking Hassan, mimetic synchrony. So, step 1, red pilling and trauma. People exposed to severe trauma often find their most deeply held beliefs and their own self-worth shattered. And he quoted, did he actually quote an actual article? Nope. Wikipedia on the person, trauma and recovery. Did he actually quote a real article? No way Jim read this whole book. I don't believe it. Clinically, trauma is the cause of numerous psychological and psychiatric problems, including dissociative disorder. And then the otherwise specified, he always posts that. Go down some more. Here is what really pissed me off. Jim coined a new phrase, Podesta art shock method. Means deliberately sending someone to view traumatic content posted by others of satanic Democrats featuring Hillary Clinton's crimes, including kidnapping, trafficking, and torturing children to extract their adrenochrome. Shut up, Jim is right, sticker chick. And that's what you weren't here when I was like going off on Jim about not being trained as a mental health professional. And he's just some sad cis white man who's been sitting on his couch and created a cool ARG like maybe 20, 30 years ago. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you have no training in any of this. And you like creating this phrase, like, fuck off. So, okay, the use of children is especially potent and a harmful tactic. It reaches deep into the fear center of all people, but especially women, as the authors of Red Pill Tactics note. The purposeful exposure of people of traumatic content without their knowledge is violence. Doing this deliberately should be a crime in the same way any assault is. Nevertheless, it happens all day long and begins the process of brainwashing online. Ah! Yes, me either. Jim only reads 2 paragraphs and is an expert. Yeah, Winks. Oh, this made me so mad, Winks. I mean, I love you, but you really did make me angry. You made me go live on Jim, and I haven't talked about him in so long. Let's see. What do we have now? Oh, God, he shared Jane's story. I'm not opening Jane's story. I'll scream. Here is a fictionalized account of how it happens from the viewpoint of a victim. This is a composite of thousands of people I've personally interacted with and observed. Jim hasn't interacted and observed any fucking person. I'll open Jane's story. I'm just going to briefly read it because I'm just going to read a brief portion of this. Jane is a Christian mom in a purple state. She goes to church every Sunday and votes Democratic, even though she's lost lots of conservative friends. One day, Jane's friend sends her a text. Jane, you have to look at this. It's a video, 10 minutes long, called Pedogate. Jane clicks on it. The video is well produced and hypnotic. Lush scenes of American life are layered with droning music and dark predictions for the future. Then they start talking about children. 800,000 per year, according to the video. who were taken off the streets and tortured. Scenes of child abuse are shown in graphic detail with pictures of Hillary, Soros, and Obama combined with dire warnings that they are coming for your kids next. Jane is traumatized by what she's seen. The scenes of abuse cause her to dissociate, which is how the mind protects itself from information that's too painful to process. Jane's mind creates a separate identity to try to understand what she's seen. She feels like she's outside of her own body watching from a distance. When the video is over, Jane is in shock. While the claims in the video seem outlandish, she cannot stop thinking about it. What if it's real, even some of it? Jane feels like she can't just ignore it. She texts her friend back and tells her how horrified she is by what she's seen. Come over. We'll have some wine. I'll show you my research. That evening, Jane goes to her friend's house and they spend hours together watching more videos and surfing websites. Why they have some wine, just the gals hanging out. I fucking hate this guy. I hate him. Yeah, Jim sits online all day and calls it research. Oh, God, I cannot stand him. All right, let's see. Okay, I can't read Jane's story. I've even heard him read Jane's story on his podcast. So fucking annoying. All right. So what do we got here? When the mind is flooded with too much signal from acute stress, intense pain, or emotional overload, it may dissociate, effectively throwing up a wall inside the mind. This depersonalizes the subject from whatever is causing what may be an incipient mental breakdown by creating a safe zone inside the mind, essentially forming a different depersonalized existence, which is still able to cognitively functioning. When red-pilled with violent, pedophile-oriented, racist, anti-Semitic content of the kind found in Pizzagate, QAnon, and other MAGA forums, the viewer is dissociated by the traumatic nature of the content and wants to protect themselves from the extreme emotional pain of what they're seeing. This is a way for the mind to process the content without the burden of the emotional impact. Okay, Dr. Jim. The Jane story was something he made up. This we're reading right now, the article, is a article he wrote within today or yesterday that he thinks is a brilliant work that he did and he put out. He thinks it's really good work that he did. He thinks it's something really good work that he did. Okay. I don't know who he is. I mean, I don't know what he thought he was writing, but a lot of people liked it. So, let's see what's next. Okay. Now, yeah, yikes is right. Okay. Where did I lose my page? Okay, here we go. Salvation, step 3. In classic models of ideological capture from, we have the behavioral theorist to Robert J. Lifton. Oh, here we go. This is where Dr. Steve Hassan comes in. Combating cult mind control. The first step in changing a person's identity is unfreezing by unmooring them from their existing framework, their sense of self, and their place in the world. You deliberately disintegrate them. Online, the red pill is the unfreeze, the agent of contagion or directed trauma. What Jim essentially did was gish gallop. Hi, Von Peabad. Welcome, Medusa, too. Oh, that's cool. What he did is essentially he took a whole bunch of other people's work and gish galloped it together, kind of like what Dr. Stephen Hassan did. And so he's like taking Dr. Stephen Hassan's stuff too and gish galloping it together too. So first, the savior or the prophet, for example, Trump or Q, is always presented in these moments as a solution to the false problem. And he's going to go through down the heroes. And then step 4, refreezing. After the violence or of unfreezing through trauma, the refreezing of the person's psyche after being dissociated online is a process, a constant reinforcing set of messages, images, and videos that present a world perfectly aligned with the designated savior and prophets. I promise we're going to watch RadPod. I just had to get to this part where I chew into Dr. Stephen Hassan and Jim citing him. In MAGA and QAnon, there's a certain set of rules. If you comply with them, you are rewarded. The more enthusiastically you promote the doctrine and the leader, the more likes, retweets, and warm invitations you get to various gatherings. You are put into follow chains and grow your presence online. You are welcomed in a way, your family. But it is all well crafted hoax, an alternate reality that you are presented as real. If you have doubts, you keep them to yourselves. Why bother when you're making so many new friends? And they keep telling you the more red pill videos you watch, the more you will understand the hidden world inside the mainstream media won't tell you about. Save the children from the satanic pedophile Democrats. All right, step 5. How many goddamn steps are there? Oh, okay, we're almost done. Step 5, that's the last one. Mimetic synchrony. Mimetic synchrony is emotional mimesis synchronized, Jesus Christ, Jim, through an insulated information environment using prophets and proxies. Prostitutes, Mina. Prostitutes. Hey, Waymaker, welcome. Prostitutes. We got prostitutes. Once the subject has been traumatized, unfrozen, saved, refrozen, and committed to mimetic synchrony, it becomes, in Lifton's model, a totalist environment. Okay, citing Robert J. Lifton. Some other prominent thought-stopping phrases. Russia, 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 lock her up. Where we go one, we go all. Trust the plan, do your own research. Now, at the bottom, Jimmy here cites, here is Dr. Stephen Hassan's dissertation on the bite model. I clicked it. Let's see. Share this tab instead. Uh-oh. Doesn't look like Jimmy cited the right thing. This is not his bite model dissertation. This is just a link to his bullshit website with the short little things. But I do have Dr. Stephen Hassan's bite model. We're going to talk about Dr. Stephen Hassan here before we get into, I wanted to share Wink's post here too real quick. Because Wink wrote really good about, then I'm going to talk real quick about Dr. Stephen Hassan's dissertation, just real quick, because he cites a very interesting person on there who has fled from the U.S. government. There's a warrant out for his arrest, and Dr. Stephen Hassan is damn well aware of who that guy is. Okay. So here's Wink's. Oh, yes, I will absolutely explain. So we are discussing right now Jim Stewartson, and he is a host of a show called Radicalized Truth Survives with 2 other people, Heidi Kuda and Hi-Fi, who also goes by High Fidelity, but his real name is Josh Fidel. And they are, at best, center right liberals, shit libs, basically. What would be considered also blue and on. They are conspiracy theorists. They put out a lot of bunk and BS. They have, within my community of people, a lot of people I know, they have failed doxed and doxed people, harassed them. They have said, at least myself and one other person in here, they have said, we work for Russia. We work for Mike Flynn. Yeah, he's a Karen Democrat lib. A lot of ridiculous stuff, a lot of conspiracy theories, but they have a big following. They really do. It's kind of dropped off as of late with people that go on their shows and stuff. They did have a bigger upswing when they first came onto the scene. But yeah, and generally just, for me, the LOL cows of shit libs, but they have a show and they're popular. And I think they're important to cover. And I kind of got tired of them for a while, but you'll see when we watch them what they're like after I go through this basic thing. But I don't know if you listened to Taylor's show the other night when they did Samuel L. Jackson reading that steamy erotic novel. That was one of the hosts, the book that she wrote, Betty Dangerous, Fox Undercover. There we go. That's a good description too, Winks. Radical centrist trolls LARPing as professionals. That is a great description. Great description. Yeah. Jim came from Silicon Valley. He created an ARG way back in the day. He rode the coattails of that for a while. He still talk about it all the time. Came onto the scene in August of 2020 when QAnon had already been around for years and said he solved it all. And that's kind of how he gained his popularity, Jim Stewartson. Yeah. So it's a whole mishmash of all this stuff. Yeah, and if you look on this channel, if you ever have time or you get interested, you can peek around some videos and stuff I did about them, short clips and stuff if you wanna learn a little bit more. But I think you'll get a gist of it here, when we look at their video today, what they do and how absurd they are. Uh, what was I oh, Winks. Girth. Winks. Okay, so, Winks had posted, "Jim Stewartson has come up with the phrase Podesta art shock method. I don't know what's more ridiculous, people believing Podesta is sacrificing children or Jim's explanation for Pizzagate." Bravo, Winks. I love that. That was a good one. And then we have, um, Jim is not a clinical anything, therefore should not use the word clinically. It's unethical to speak as a professional when you are not one. Anyone who spent any time studying psychology knows this. Yeah, Jim's a doofus. It's infuriating. He's got a juvenile understanding of the subject matter and has never studied with a psychologist. You're right, Winks. Always. I appreciate you. Okay, now I was moving on to I was gonna pull up the Dr. Stephen Hassan stuff, and I'm sorry for anybody if you're a fan of Dr. Stephen Hassan, but I have a really big series on him, and that part 3 will be coming out, probably in the wintertime, about what he's doing currently, um, but he's a shitbag. Okay. Okay. So this is Dr. Stephen's dissertation here. Let me share this tab. Now, his dissertation's not really important, but what's important is I wanna show you down here in his citations. His dissertation I'll talk about when I do the last part of my series. Where are your references at on here, Dr. Stephen Hassan? Hold on. References. Nope. It's such a bad okay, there we go. What is important is right here. Let me zoom in. What is important that I'm just gonna hide the chat real quick, is that you notice the name right there, Anton Hein. That source there, and Dr. Stephen Hassan did his dissertation. I have to check the date here. I think it was a year or 2 ago, 2024, maybe he completed it. But you see Anton Hein, "What You Should Know About Censor, Apologetics Index," retrieved October 9th, 2020, and he has it cited there. That's the important part, and Jim cited this dissertation from Dr. Stephen Hassan in his work that he just did. Let's see, when did he get his doctorate? Is the date on here? 2020. I thought he got it later. Okay, yeah, 2020. So that's when Dr. Stephen Hassan did it. Now, who is Anton Hein? Well, I'm going to tell you about Anton Hein real quick here. Okay, let me pull this up. And Dr. Stephen Hassan has been aware of who Anton Hein is because this cult awareness network has been not Can's defunct, but the one that came after it has been on Dr. Stephen Hassan about this for a while. And he has hold on, I have to put his name back in here real quick. One second. Let me MMVY. Sorry, I just have to type in this text here. Okay. Let me share this screen. And I did this before on one of our Thursday spaces before too. I've covered this before. He has an arrest warrant out for himself from the San Diego Sheriff's Department, and it is still an active warrant. You can see his name there, Anton Willem Hein. He's 8/14/57. You know, it goes through everything. The date of issue is 1996, and the reason it's so long ago is because he fled and he is living in another country. And I'm going to pull up one second here. And Dr. Stephen Hassan still cited him. Okay. Let me just verify these cars right here so I can get through this step. Verify. Okay, share this tab instead. Okay, here we go. And I have verified all of this, like going through their sources and stuff to make sure it was all correct. So this is from Cult News, the Cult Education Institute. I'll put the overlay back up here again. Thank you, Waymaker. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so we have cult watcher Steve Hassan is specifically recommending. Now, this was from 2015. So, and Dr. Stephen Hassan watched them all the time. If they would post something about Dr. Stephen Hassan, he would immediately rebut it or do an article on his old website. They have like tons of stuff archived from Dr. Stephen Hassan. And that's why I've covered him so fervently, because I caught him in so many different lies. And that's how I came across this. So, cult watcher Stephen Hassan is specifically recommending and promoting a fugitive sex offender through his Freedom of Mind website. Hassan recommends through numerous links the website of convicted pedophile and wanted fugitive Anton Hein. Cult News previously reported about Anton Hein, who is a self-proclaimed expert and supposed lay minister. Hein runs a website called Apologetics Index. Anton Hein pled guilty to sex charges in the United States and involved lewd behavior with his niece, a 13-year-old child. He served jail time in California before he was released on an extended supervised probation. Hein violated his probation by leaving the U.S. He now lives in Amsterdam. A fugitive warrant has been issued and remains currently in effect for the immediate arrest of Anton Hein. Hein now apparently makes a living from a combination of Dutch welfare benefits and revenue from online Google ads featured at his counter-cult website. Stephen Hassan has helped him by including numerous links. Now, Dr. Hassan has taken all these links off of his site, Freedom of Mind, now the updated site, but that didn't stop him from citing him in his dissertation, now did it? Hein reciprocates by endorsing and promoting Hassan. Anton Hein runs a group of websites, including cultexperts.org, www.cultfaq, and he also controls religious news Twitter feed. Now, I want to warn everybody, too, if you follow this Twitter page, I don't think a lot of people realize this is his as well. So if you're following that Twitter page, this is him. So there you go. Yeah, don't cross me. I'm telling you, I do deep research, and yeah, I really look into stuff. Like I'm like a dog with a bone, but in a good way, like with my research. So okay. Oops, I meant to go back to this tab. Okay, here we go. Stephen Hassan, that's him, says he is opposed to sexual abuse and is a supporter of the Child Friendly Faith Project. Hassan states at his website that this is focused on ending child abuse and neglect within religion-affiliated groups by educating the public. Hassan also is currently involved in an effort to end sexual exploitation through human trafficking. However, Stephen Hassan states, I recommend subscribing to the free religion news report compiled by Anton Hein, Apologetics Index. And at the top of page 1, Hassan posts, click here to read a review of Releasing the Bonds on the Apologetics Index. And it goes on, and I can post these links. Well, it's going to be, I told you in part 3, but I just don't think people are aware enough of this stuff, and it really pisses me off. And Hassan knew this and still cited him in his dissertation. But who's really going to look into this stuff? Thank you, Ratherby. But I think Hassan thought that he could slip it by in his dissertation and people aren't going to look at the footnotes. I am. I look at that stuff. So yeah, I noticed you. I see you, Dr. Hassan. I noticed. So yeah, that really grinds my gears. So if you want to know more leading up to, I am going to, I'm on the big TV. Okay. Oh, make that smaller. How bad do my wrinkles look? But if you want to know more about all of my Dr. Stephen Hassan series are on, my podcast did transfer over. So it's on this channel and on my 6 Degrees. I think there's 9 episodes on Dr. Stephen Hassan. I do the Moonies first, and then it goes into Dr. Stephen Hassan. And then if you want the video part where there's clips and stuff, to be able to see it, you have to go to podcast. But yeah, I'm pretty thorough. I don't mess around. What wrinkles? Aw, you're sweet. No chin check. How's it look? How's it look? Okay, so there's Nana Dahmer. Now that I got to stomp on Dr. Stephen Hassan a little bit, that felt good. We got Nana Dahmer. And we got Jimmy's taking a big drink. And we've got Hi-Fi. Let's see what these idiots have to say this week. Okay.
You gotta.
Hi, Rad.
It's
Hi,
Ozzy,
everybody.
man.
I'm sorry. I was
It's
really
Ozzy.
into reading all that stuff. Anybody that came
And
in.
if this world isn't
Yeah.
a crazy train.
Yeah.
Thank you,
God, I
Dastardly.
love that song. Boy, taking me back to my youth. Welcome everybody to RadPod and Not So Chill.
The entrance was Crazy Train, and it was a bunch of that stuff that Hi-Fi does. Twinkles, not wrinkles. You're
I'm
sweet.
Heidi Kuda. I'm here with Jim Stewartson and High Fidelity. High Fidelity, thank you as always for the work you put into the intros. All that grim stuff, all that grim, horrible stuff. Like, oh my God,
Oh
I'm
my
looking
God.
for an old tweet thread where I don't know, somewhere in 2019 or 2018, I'm like, wow, so much of what is happening is cover for human trafficking, and not the kind that they're ginning up to turn people against Democrats, which was, this make believe cultic shit. No, I had thread after thread of the people in Trump's orbit who were actually convicted or in prison for this. And it's like, I don't know, Jim, you seem to be, I don't know if optimistic is the right word, but you seem to believe that there is a genuine fracturing over this, and maybe you should kick us off.
Oh, Beck, the live is later. I'm sorry. I was just reading chat. I just decided I was talking to Winks and I got really mad and worked up. And I was like, that's it. I'm doing a stewing on thing. The live is still going on. Winks got me all wound up. I am still doing the live at 8 tonight with Quacks and Steph about Ted Gunderson. We're still doing it. I just got myself all worked up. I got mad.
With that, because I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you when the very interesting actual test is going to be is when Donald Trump pardons Ghislaine Maxwell, because that's coming.
Ghislaine, is it Ghislaine? Ghislaine, or is it
sometime
Ghislaine?
in the next
I have to
month
look up
or
how to
two,
pronounce her name.
I think he will do it, and the reason is simple. He's got no choice, and. What I just wrote a thing about this. This is the equivalent of I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue.
I bet you
and
can
I
relate,
lose any
Mina.
voters. I could pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I wouldn't lose any voters. That's literally what this is him believing that he has so much power over narrative control that he can completely invert the last 10
What is
years
Heidi
of
wearing on her ears?
that his cult has been told about, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and the evils of child trafficking. Literally the number one fucking subject. And he's just gonna say, well,
Nana
and
Dahmer needs a
apparently,
stylist.
and the reason I am so confident of this, partly is because they've already started the narrative war to turn fucking Ghislaine Maxwell into a victim. Greg Kelly, a long time simpering little sycophant for Trump at Newsmax, said out loud, maybe there was a rush to judgment.
Is that how you say
here.
it, Winks, Jelaine? I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Over 20, 25 years, she trafficked over 1,000 girls and women, according to the DOJ. According to her own victims, read what they say about her. She is a sadist.
Maybe they're from Vaughn's back.
I have.
No, I'm talking to everybody else.
Yeah.
She is a sadist. there's
That
no
was mean. I'm
question
sorry,
about
Vaughn.
who she is, what she is, and how fucking evil she is. So, circling back, the test of the MAGA coalition, as it were,
I don't know.
in my
Beck.
view, I don't think there's a bigger test than I'm going to
He's pretty cleaned up today.
pardon the devil. Right? That's what he's doing. I'm going to pardon the person that you all have been told is the devil. And if his cult manages to stay on their feet, we have a very fucking dangerous. We have a situation non-dangerous because now we have people who are fully Orwell.
She hates him.
Right? They are fully in the Voltaire quote that I've said so many times.
This is a
I'm going to
crossover.
say it again.
Heidi is
Those who
buying
can make you
jewelry
believe
from
absurdities can make you commit atrocities. So at the same time,
little known trivia here. She actually has interviewed, Heidi has interviewed, what's his name? Oh, he has the droopy face from Freedom Corner. Fuck, what's his name? Oh, Mina, help me, somebody. What the fuck's his name? Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt. Why can't I think of his fucking name? Mina, what the fuck's his name? With the droopy face like this? She interviewed him and his woman. Fuck. But Heidi Kuda went down to the corner and interviewed him. Stormtrooper. Yeah, thanks, Bex. That's it. Yep. Little known trivia. Yep, she did. Heidi Kuda sure did interview
as
them.
he's doing
And she
all
felt a
of
lot
this
of
bullshit,
understanding talking to them. She
he
really
put
got
out
it.
an EO.
Mama Don. Yeah.
Let me briefly explain what this is. We'll talk about it more. But an EO.
Oh, we can watch that. I'll look for that.
That law enforcement should be able to
Sherry,
run around.
Let me see if I can find it.
And kidnap homeless, mentally ill, disabled people off the street and forcibly institutionalize
it's so
them.
bad. Let me see if I can find it.
There was a program. There were two programs. One was in the Soviet Union by the NKVD, which did exactly the same thing. The NKVD was their secret service. And the other was Action T4, which was the Nazi program to do precisely the same thing.
Yeah.
And they announced the same exact thing. Oh, we're going to clean the streets up. And this thing literally says, we're going to restore order in the title, which was exactly Hitler's idea and exactly how he pitched it. And 3 years later, he sent them all to concentration camps and 300,000 people died. They were the test case for the Holocaust. They took all of their findings and their manner of death, and they translated that to the rest of what they did. So that's what we're facing right now in America. Morning. How's everybody doing?
Lots of trigger warnings.
She does
tonight.
not seem like she is
gentle
into
words,
this at all.
Gentle words, hi-fi.
Okay,
words.
so because I'm an IT guy, see IT right there, it says it on my shirt. One of the things we like to do is it's a post-mortem. We look for root causes of problems, and one thing I think that has been missing from the discussion about Ghislaine Maxwell, because everybody's all Epstein. I would disagree. I think Ghislaine is more important, and the reason I think she's more important is because when you look at her history, you find this fella, Robert Maxwell. And if you don't know who Robert Maxwell is, hopefully you do if you've been watching our podcast. But if you don't know who this is, you need to go out and learn about this fellow. And actually, you can go to the FBI's FOIA site.
It never has a plan,
and you can, on their vault, read 1,300 documents about Robert Maxwell and how he worked for the KGB.
God damn, Heidi, why do you write so
fed
much?
information to the CIA and to the Mossad. But I think everybody's looking at this the wrong way. I think Epstein was the monster and he was the face, but I think Ghislaine was the handler continuing her daddy's work. That's just my
Well,
opinion.
it's all bad, but just like we said last week, go
Well, it's
out
all
and
bad.
read,
Moving on.
American Compromat by Craig Unger, which lays all this stuff out. Um, so Jim, thank you for that high five. Jim, I want to ask you because we've seen this, I don't know, how many years have I and you and everybody we know, been tweeting out threads based on reality, based on real convictions, based on real prosecutions of people in Trump's orbit linked to all this stuff, right? But you have this cult that has been, submerged in unreality that's been pointing them in the wrong direction, away from the people in Trump's orbit and toward, the Democrats, etc. So, what do you think
And
will
Liz.
happen to
I
their
know.
brains? Are they going to be able to actually take this in and realize that it's actually people in Trumplandia that are tied to all of this stuff? And I don't want to use the words all the time. I don't like to. It's like it spreads this vileness into everyone's psyche.
Oh,
We all know what
Heidi.
we're talking about. And I just want to know what you think, Jim, based on all of the work and investigation you've done around QAnon. Are they going to be able to actually face that reality that it's actually Trump's people that have been involved in all of this human trafficking?
It's this is the biggest question, isn't it? So what is happening to them is known. It's called cognitive dissonance. When you have two
So smart, Jim.
facts in your head that you believe at the same time that are contradictory. Like Donald Trump is going after the pedophiles and Donald Trump is protecting the pedophiles. Those two things you can't have them in your head at the same time for long. And the reason for that is called cognitive dissonance. It fucking hurts. You shouldn't, a functioning brain shouldn't be able to have both of those ideas in their head at the same time. You have to resolve it one way or the other. And so the problem that these poor people have is, on one side, they have to go through a ridiculous amount of acrobatics in order to figure out a conclusion where Donald Trump pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell is
He seems giddy over it.
good. On the other hand, if they go to the other side, it's even scarier.
He has connections to his joint.
Everything, all of the stuff that they have believed for X number of years, is fucking
dangerous.
wrong.
I am on a mission to find this interview now.
It's like that meme.
I don't know why I don't have this bookmarked.
Are we the baddies? Yes, you are the baddies, and it's hard, very, very hard for people to come to that realization, which is why I always say, when you have moments like this is the, again.
Oh my gosh, his hat has American flag under the bill.
So much
Jimmy, you're such a patriot.
Underway. But when somebody is, think about this, somebody's on a ledge, and they're about to fall off down one cliff or down the other cliff. And it's scary as fuck both ways. But at least this way they have friends. The side where they do all the acrobatics and make believe how Ghislaine is actually okay. On the other hand, they don't have anything. It's just terror. It's liberals and scary monster people that they've been told for all these years. And that doesn't change just because something over here changes. The point is that if there's somebody here like, yo, it's cool. Like down at the bottom, like, yo, it's cool. Trust me. They may not trust you, but it gives them hope. It gives them a reason to consider that, yes, even though this option is incredibly scary, it means I have to give up all of these things, at least there's somebody that I know that, to talk to. So that is my view of where we are. process.
It's so interesting because I just remember when I interviewed Dr. Stephen Hassan, and he
Ugh.
said part of what is so difficult is that they believe they're part of a community.
God damn it. She just interviewed Dr. Stephen Hassan, or when she did. Hold on. I just got to take that back a second.
Is my view of
Yeah.
where we are in
They
the
do
process.
think he's so
It's so
smart.
interesting because I just remember when I interviewed Dr.
when?
Stephen Hassan, and he said part of what is so difficult is that they believe they're part of a community. But he said what ultimately they are is part of a false community. It's not actually a real community, because if they actually step out and they question, they find out it's not a community at all. Anybody who steps outside and questions is actually ostracized. So that is the difficult thing that I think we're going to see more and more of. And you said last week that
Who wants to take a break and see Heidi Kuda interview some patriots? It's only 12 minutes. I finally found it and it was bugging me. So it's called Patriot Ghost, Roger and Sherry down by the cemetery. And I'll read how terrible it is after we watch this Patriot Ghost story. Wow, this is mind-blowing Vaughn type thing. The crossovers are amazing, right? These worlds, like the way they cross over. So there's Roger, there's Sherry. There we go. Mina's like, me, I want this crossover. All right, here we go. Let me make sure the volume's up. We're good? Okay, here we go.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have you start again. I hit the wrong.
Okay,
So
that's as
now
loud
we're
as it
going.
goes. I'm sorry.
Let's go ahead and just introduce yourselves again, and then just give me that. That was wonderful.
Okay, I'm 1791 Stormtrooper Roger.
Uh-huh.
And I'm Sherry, Sapphire Patriot on multiple channels.
Okay, great.
And we are out here behind the DC jail every single night. We have had a candlelight vigil for 678 consecutive days to stand in solidarity with the J6 political prisoners. They are being held here against their constitutional rights. In many cases, their human rights are being violated. These jails do not adhere to their own policies when it comes to their prisoners. So not only do we stand here in solidarity with our J6 prisoners to be a voice for them, we also advocate for all the prisoners in this jail to get better treatment, better food, and for justice to be served properly, not just the way this administration wants to. Specifically, we do stand here for the J6 political prisoners because there were 4 patriots killed on January 6, 2021, and we are here to get justice for those 4 patriots, and also to call out the injustice of the patriots that they are locking up for simply standing for their constitutional rights, a stolen election, and many of these guys have only been locked up because they have opposing political views. And that's it. We just want justice for these guys. We want fair trials, just like our Constitution says. We have the right to justice and speedy trials, and to not be prosecuted or persecuted for our political beliefs. And that's what we stand here every single night and advocate. We have anywhere from 3 to 6 live streams that go every single night that we're here, and the world is seeing what's happening. And most importantly, we stand here with Ashley Babbitt's mother. Ashley Babbitt was a multi-combat veteran who was shot and killed on January 6th inside the Capitol. She was unarmed, she was not aggressive, and she was killed by a rogue cop who should have had his badge and his gun taken away from him years before. And what happens to him? He gets rewarded for killing a combat veteran of this country, and we are here to get justice for her.
Okay, Roger, do you want to add anything?
Well, I just want to show you, they're in that building there. I think there's like 25 of them right now, but there are more spread across this country, 1,250, I believe, and there's 250 that are detained, but the rest are in, what do you call it, house arrest. They can't leave their house. Their families are being destroyed because of this. They have multi-million lawyer fees. You got to have bills at home to pay. Mostly the guys are the breadwinners, and their families just don't have anything, and the government, doesn't care.
Well, thank you so much. I can tell that you're both really passionate about your feelings
Exactly,
on
Winks.
this. And
No
why do you
pushback.
think it is
She gets the
that
scoops, though.
there's a faction of the country that views what happened on January 6th as domestic terrorism, and there's a faction that actually believes these people are heroes? What do you think that divide is really about?
I think the divide is mainly because of the politics in our country right
He
now.
does.
Right.
Most of the patriots that are locked up right now are simply locked up because of their political views. The mainstream of America believes that these people are terrorists because of the lies they were fed, because of the extremely false committee hearing that they have, that they absolutely lied in, and the fact that they have not released over 90,000 hours of video footage that would set these men free. We just want justice. We just want a fair and equal justice system. It is what this administration, the current administration, has fed the public, what the media has lied and fed the public about. We are here to show you the truth. These guys call out to us every single night, and we put the phone up to a speaker.
Ugh.
So that everyone can hear their voices and hear their stories and how unjust this really is. All we ask is that you don't have to believe us. Don't believe a word we're saying. Just please look into it. Get out of the government's narrative. Find the
He has a
truth
mouth breather.
about what happened
Keeps
that
his
day.
mouth open
And
as wide
I
as Kenny does.
believe in all of my heart that you too will see these men
right.
Exactly,
as
Winks.
heroes.
That's right.
Well, thank you both for that. And the last thing is that I did read a book by Jeff Charlotte called Slow Moving Civil War. I think it was called The Undertow, Scenes from a Slow Moving Civil War. And on the cover of it, there was the Bowie knife that Ashley Babbitt was carrying. And I know that you said she was unarmed, but according to Jeff Charlotte's book, she did have a knife with her. And does that change how you feel about the situation at all? Or how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know where he got his information, but never once have I ever heard of Ashley Babbitt carrying
That's the
a
first
Bowie
time
knife.
I've heard of it
Never.
myself.
That
I
is
think-
false information.
Okay, I believe the book is it called The Undertow? Scenes from a Slow Moving Civil War?
Something about a slow-moving civil war and Jeff Charlotte.
And he put her knife on the cover because he wanted people to understand that was part of the police evidence. But I totally encourage you to look into it, and
Oh, I'm
maybe I'll
going
come
to,
back
because
and
that's the
We
first
stare
Yeah,
time.
they're
at
gonna
every
read a
night
book.
with
Yeah.
her mother.
I know, so her mom must just be so heartbroken. I guess
Dastardly, he
the last
does.
thing I want to say is that my concern, because I can hear your passion and your integrity and how you feel about this, and I think my concern is that America being so divided right now weakens us terribly.
Absolutely.
And the fact that we can't come together and have some shared narrative of truth, I think, is really a profound tragedy. And people look at that day as the darkest day in history, and people like you say these guys are heroes. And how can we bridge that divide? Where can we come together to stop weakening America on the world stage by fighting each other? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well,
'Cause
actually, they need to go back to when I was born, since in 1957 till now. Our government has changed profoundly. It's not the same government that the guys that are buried in here. Some
Oh, the cemetery that you guys
revolutionary
respected so
soldiers
much?
fought for. And but that's our fault. Also, we've given all these rights away. We've given to the government can just come in your house nowadays. They can use different laws that the Congress has passed, and we let them do that.
Okay. And what do you think? What do you think would be the best way to unite us so we're no longer not able to come up with a shared truth?
Waymaker.
Well, conversations need to happen.
Yeah. I like
And
that.
so often, you know, we've encountered so many different people here on this corner in 678 days. And
I'm going to start
I can
using
honestly
that
say
new
I've
word,
had one
Mina,
conversation
profanely.
with an opposing view.
Huh.
I don't feel that Democrats or liberals are willing to have those deep conversations. And
Not
even
with
if you're
people who
not
try to
willing
overthrow my
have those
government, no.
conversations, all we ask
And who
is
assaulted
that
people.
get away from the mainstream media's narrative. Start thinking for yourself. Start reading articles and seeing live streams of people that aren't mainstream
Begging
media.
for money?
And start
No,
having
I'm good.
those conversations.
Okay, well that sounds really positive.
Okay,
and do you
well,
have
that
any
sounds positive.
recommendations on what media you consume that you think would be helpful for people to understand where you're coming
I
from?
just go through what do you call it, YouTube and stuff like that. See
Yeah.
these things that I like, and then I get on and on.
And you?
Well,
It's a
I
mixture
know-
of a lot of different news.
I know they don't have it, I don't know if you'd consider it mainstream, excuse me.
I have the same problem right now.
But the Gateway Pundit is
Oh my
a
gosh.
fabulous news source.
Okay.
They do cover both sides.
Pump that out to your
and
audience,
I would
Heidi.
encourage you, you know,
What
even
media
if
do you
don't
guys
agree
watch?
with us,
What should we take
at
in?
least give us an opportunity.
Yeah.
Watch what the guys have to say. Watch our live streams. Try to be open-minded and just give truth a chance.
Give
Right.
truth.
Thank you
a
so much. And my
guys.
last question. We had two things happen last week. Steve Bannon going to jail for contempt of Congress and Donald Trump getting 34 convictions. Lightning round. How do you guys feel about that?
Actually, he has not been convicted yet.
Oh,
It's not until the judge sentences
July
him
1st. Okay.
he will be
Heidi.
either convicted or acquitted.
Okay.
So, you know, pushing
didn't
that
even push
narrative
back
right
on
now
that.
is wrong.
She's like,
Okay,
okay.
so there wasn't 34 felony convictions?
He was charged.
Charged.
Okay.
He has
had-
not been convicted.
Is that true? I think
Is
he's
that
been
true?
convicted,
No,
But he hasn't been sentenced yet.
The judge will have to, at his
Excuse
conviction,
me. Okay.
will say either you're guilty or not.
Okay.
So you can't see you're putting that narrative out right
All right.
now. What happens if you put that narrative out and the judge says you're innocent?
Do you think that might actually happen, that he might go free?
Who knows?
Okay.
I honestly think because of what has happened with
This
the
is
jury,
so embarrassing.
there has been leaks
Yeah.
from the jury. I believe that
I say some dumb shit
Trump
sometimes,
has
but not that dumb shit.
every opportunity to oppose this, and I do believe the Supreme Court should step in and absolutely say that everything that has happened here has been unprecedented.
People pay her
and
and
things
pay
need
the
to be
RadPod
and
crew
it's
to feed them this diet of
absolutely atrocious
information.
what has happened in the jury. So how can you convict a man on this
And
when most of the convictions were done in unethical legal manners? So
Okay.
as far as Bannon's concerned, I believe that he is being attacked for his First Amendment right, which all of us have.
I know, Waymaker.
under our
I apologize.
Constitution.
I'm
And
sorry. Sometimes
All right.
it happens.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today and for standing your ground and letting me know how you feel.
God bless you.
Thank you. We got the flag waving in the background. Well timed,
Amen.
sir. Well timed.
Okay. Well, that's that. Let's take a look at what Heidi wrote. Just go along with this. It's not very long because Heidi's not a wordy author. Patriot Ghost, Roger and Sherry down by the cemetery. While in D.C., I paid a visit to the Congressional Cemetery where I met Roger and Sherry, who believe they are patriots. Roger and Sherry have posted up in front of the D.C. jail for 678 days, and this is from June 13th of 2024. Occasionally, Roger, okay, blah, blah, blah. Roger, sad-faced, stained shirt, lets Sherry do most of the talking. Occasionally, he grunts in with some misinformed facts that he got off the internets. Ugh. Sherry, however, is a woman of passion and conviction. She uses words like patriot and constitutional a lot, and she wears her love for America on both shirt and hat. Her head is a repository for Russian propaganda, but I don't think she knows that. We stand with Ashley Babbitt's mother, Sherry says, her voice trembling. Ashley Babbitt was a multi combat veteran who was shot and killed on January 6th inside the Capitol. She was unarmed, she was not aggressive, and she was killed by a rogue cop. In 678 days, no one, not a single person, told them Ashley Babbitt was armed. I let her continue her speech. It was Sherry's MAGA howl. I have learned not to contradict the facts of the radicalized. I have learned from from Dr. Hassan to ask the polite, curious question. And although I was tired and under the weather, I listened and asked questions for 12 minutes. That was all I could take, not a second more. They call the area where they stand Freedom Corner, but it felt more like a self imposed prison. They are true believers in a lost world, mind hacked by Russian active measures and U.S. traitors that act like flax for Putin. Sherry's MAGA howl. After Sherry concluded her misinformed jabberwocky about heroes and truth and things that made sense in the upside down, where facts are pesky things, I asked her why does she think that many Americans see January 6th as the darkest day in our history and believe that the people that she and Roger call heroes to actually be domestic terrorists. Sherry thinks the divide in America is a political divide and that the J6 domestic terrorists are locked up because of their political beliefs. I feel like singing the blues. Sherry don't know about the big lie. Sherry didn't see a storm foretold. Sherry don't know about Roger Stone. Sherry don't know about Mike Flynn. How those two traitors created a ruse so her J6 heroes, their freedom would lose. Oh my God, she wrote a song in the middle. Okay. Sherry don't know. Sherry continues. The mainstream of America believes these people are terrorists because of the lies they were fed, because of the extremely false committee hearings that they absolutely lied in. These guys cry to us every night. So I go in poet, snap, snap, snap quietly. I ask them if they know about Jeff Charlotte's book. Like Columbo, I fumble for the name, even though I know it by heart. I can't give them an uppercut. I have to do a slow-mo haymaker with an ever so gentle landing. I asked them if they saw Ashley Babbitt's knife on the cover of his book. There on the cover of The Undertow, Scenes from a Slow-Moving Civil War, was a police exhibit of the knife Ashley Babbitt was carrying. Was it a Bowie knife? I don't know my knives, but I know it was deadly and she was armed. Both Roger and Sherry tell me they never knew about that. 678 days standing beside the Congressional Cemetery where true patriots are buried like John Philip Sousa and Leonard Matlovich, and a mind-hacked domestic terrorist armed with a killing knife becomes their martyr. I ask them the question I have learned to ask because I am a student of great scholars and authors. I know from Peter Pomershirov, I don't know that name, who I met the day before at a TEDx Mid-Atlantic, that what unites the American mind hacked is a hatred for Joe Biden and Hillary and a belief in American exceptionalism. So I say, don't you think this inability for Americans to have a shared narrative of truth weakens us on the world stage? Don't you think that Americans continually fighting each other makes us weak? Roger and Sherry agreed with me. Score one for unity. My last question about Bannon going to prison and Trump being a convicted felon had them calling me fake news. They explained to me that Trump was not a convicted felon and that I was spreading fake news. They believe the judge will set him free in July. Bannon is simply another political prisoner, Sherry explained. I asked Roger and Sherry to share their news sources with us. Roger gets his news from YouTube. My podcast is on YouTube, but I don't think he's surfing that algorithm. Sherry gets her news from the Gateway Pundit, which she says tells both sides. Sigh. Sherry don't know. I wanted to tell Sherry how I'm friends with Sergeant Gunnell, who is also a veteran. I wanted to tell her that he is my definition of a patriot and that I will always believe he is the greatest of Americans for standing between a mob of mind-hacked killers and our capital, so our flag would still be there in the morning. I wanted to tell her that I, too, would be happy to see low-level prisoners set free if it meant Roger Stone and Mike Flynn would be rung up for treason for their role in plotting the insurrection. Instead, I politely thank them both. They are standing their ground, unaware that their ground is fouled by digital poison and that MAGA was always a Russian op. My friends who know Roger and Sherry say they are LARPers, and maybe they are, but I believe that they believe. I returned to the graveyard to get a photo of Elbridge Jerry's tomb for David Pepper. As I whistled past the graveyard, I could hear the Patriot ghost weep, then howl. So, yeah, that's Heidi. And her Patriot ghost as she snaps and sings and writes her own little
One of the things that
doodad.
is also
God,
being
she's such a
revealed during
Hi,
this
Kyle.
period
Hi,
is
Connie
that
Tatum's voice.
what core MAGA
I just
people
saw
are
you.
not so
She even
fond
writes bad
of
about all
the
that shit.
ICE raids and the picking
God,
up,
she's insufferable.
people off the streets. And so I wonder if, there's going to be some sort of cataclysmic,
Talk to you later,
moment in people's psyche where they just have to face the fact that they have been conned
Sing heifer
by
sing.
the worst
Winks.
American in history, who also is a Russian asset. It wasn't a hoax.
Yeah, I mean I honestly at this point I'm not sure how much the Russian asset part even matters, right? Like it
don't care
matters,
about
yes,
Russia
because the
anymore?
Russians are continuing to fuck with us. But at this particular moment in time, honestly, the Russians are fucking with most is Donald Trump, which is part of
why is that? Why is that? Why are they doing that?
Are you going to answer?
Because they want JD Vance in power.
Oh,
Right.
that's right.
Well,
Well,
Kyle,
I mean that's
my
part of
friend.
it. It's mostly because Donald Trump won't just throw Zelensky completely and Ukraine under the bus. Like Putin wants Trump to literally help him take Ukraine, and Trump's got still has some pressure from the kind of neoconservative wing that doesn't want him to just cave like that. And so, Trump said, I'm going to send him some patriots or whatever. And Putin's people lost their fucking mind. I mean, I can't emphasize this enough. Like, not pretend. It was not kayfabe.
Yeah, these
It
idiots.
was like Americans are vermin. Donald Trump is
Kyle, you came. Did you missed
absolutely crazy. And
I played Heidi interviewing Stormtrooper. It was something.
that's when all of the Russians and all of
he's
the
walking it back
Russian
now,
sort
Winks.
of aligned people in
Hi-Fi
in the
cannot
greater
smoke at all. For a dude that smokes that much weed, he can't. He's going to cough up a
started going
goddamn lung one of
after
these days on the show.
Trump and pulling away from him. And I'm not saying that, there's like a secret underground Putin is like controlling all of their minds.
Jim took
or
a
whatever,
bong hit one
although,
time on the show and he
there
almost
probably
puked.
some
It was
of that.
disgusting.
But just all of these people have been trained for years, right? That Putin is this is
I
all
think they're
just
almost
sort of
as disgusting smoking as ZDT is.
Pretending, and Putin is actually the savior.
Was
the subtext
Waymaker.
of QAnon and the whole bit. And so they're all fucking confused about that. Also, they're confused about Iran. And what I've started to realize more and more is that there's actually very little going on here that has anything to do with geopolitics or Trump being a Russian asset or any of that. It's really by far more governed by the fact that he is a degenerating, decompensating narcissist.
Don't talk about yourself like that.
There
That's
is
not
a specific term. It's called narcissistic collapse. And he is currently in stage 4 of it. And he's taking the government with him. The basic idea of my work recently has been about, well, how can you, if you think about the American government right now, right? It's acting fucking insane, right? Like the DHS Twitter account is like posting straight up white supremacist memes.
They are. I'll give Jim that. Right. That's true.
Absolutely
it's true, Jim.
Sickening stuff.
1 point for Jim.
And so it's not just Donald Trump who's decompensating and being insane. It's the fucking government. And so,
Wait, what, Winks? He picks his nose on air again? No, he did a snot rocket the last time. Oh God. When he did that snot rocket, I have it somewhere. It's on my personal Twitter account. I'll find the snot rocket sometime. Next time I cover him, I will. When he does a snot rocket and uses his sleeve as a tissue. Goddamn hog. I forgot about that. He's a fucking animal.
you know,
He's like a little
I have been
kid.
developing this theory that because of the internet, how fast things go and shit now, if you get a leader like Trump who
I think the snot
fuses
rocket was the
himself
worst. I
so
almost threw up.
completely to the levers of power by
He was like,
installing all of these absolute sycophants
get a
everywhere
goddamn
in the
tissue.
government, rooting out all of the safeguards, the government itself basically acts like a decompensating narcissist. Now, what does that do for you? Well, it gives you some diagnostic and predictive tools, right? You can start to think about the tools of clinical psychology and other, forms of knowledge about, human behavior and apply it to the government. And it's very, very, very interesting and so far incredibly predictive and instructive.
Hi-fi is an embarrassment to everybody who really does smoke weed and doesn't try to be that cool kid.
I'm
I
not
can
trying
smoke weed
to
live on TV.
to
Look at me.
shove these things that are
embarrassing.
purely psychological moves into geopolitical strategic matrices, because that doesn't belong there. That's not what he's doing. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with the fact that Trump and therefore the government is, effectively just a narcissist in collapse.
I get nauseous.
Wow. Well, two things can be true at once, as we say on this show. And obviously,
he's gonna
Trump
take
just
a
bought
drink out of his
Putin
big
another
sippy
50
cup.
days. So,
he had to take the lid off.
the way
No,
I
don't
look
get me
at
wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
the way
Winks, now you have me
I
looking for
got
the
you.
snot
The way
rocket.
I look at
Thanks.
it, though, is that
I was trying to get it out of my head. Now I'm thinking about it.
what if it is real and we are watching
You're
the
a bad
autocrats
influence
that
today,
help
Winks.
put him into power want to take him out of power, which we knew was going to happen. That was something that we predicted back in January. They have a
There it
problem
is.
because Trump, who is a very unique criminal
Damn it. Let me send
and
it to
has
myself.
been known to be a superb propagandist, was able to bamboozle all these millions of people. And JD Vance, I mean, maybe it won't matter. Maybe it won't matter. If we just had our last free and fair election, maybe none of this matters. But he is not going to be able to build a cult around himself. And maybe they don't care because, again, the CEOs of these tech companies seem to be, holding so much power, more power than nation states. So maybe they just don't care. I don't know.
Yeah, that's part of what's so frightening and different about this term.
Okay, if you have a weak stomach, everybody, I have something coming up. Like, it's a snot rocket. It's just a little clip. If you have a weak stomach, you might want to look away. He did use it the whole episode. He used his shirt as a tissue, and it was so gross. Like, it was the worst episode. I'm gonna have to go back. Like, this episode, July 24th. Okay, let me take down the hide chat overlay. Let me hide myself too here real quick. There we go. All right.
Named Nick Land, and I can named Nick Land, and
That's
I
a
can
grown man
Nick Land,
using his arm as a
and
tissue.
I can named
He did
Nick
it the whole
Land,
episode.
and I can named Nick Land,
Ugh, Jim. Okay, one more.
and I can named Nick Land, and
Ugh.
I
Fucking hog. God, he's so gross. Ugh, that guy. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I had to know it existed. Everybody else has to know the snot washes. Everybody else had to know. Dastardly. That's why I gave the warning. A lot of people can't take snot rockets. They can't take it. I gave the warning. Booger shoulder. He's so gross. Oh God, that guy.
is, you know, I mean, what was
Okay, it's over, Dastardly.
how
It's
did
over.
fascism start? Excuse me, with Mussolini, and what was his
It was
form
a
of
mess, that
fascism?
episode.
It was corporate fascism.
The whole
It
episode
was the
was gross.
merging of corporations and the state into a single
Raph,
enterprise.
I'm sure you remember what I was
And you
talking
know
about.
that so you know that point
He's
about
a
you know
hot
JD
mess.
Vance.
You're welcome.
Part of the reason why I think they're not you know rushing to take him out is like the more this they love this, right? Because like this Action T4 fucking thing was done under the cover of this crisis. Zero people know. Like, I bet you 5% of the people in the country have any idea about this executive order, which, and I mean this in every way, is the exact carbon copy of how the Holocaust started. That was the action when they started to round up people from the streets and forcibly institutionalize them. That was the moment that started everything. And so that moment just disappeared in the midst of all of this fucking chaos. So and by the way, at the same time, right, Trump is in the middle of all this while all of this crazy shit is going down, and he's named as somebody in the Epstein files.
I'll send it
What's
to you,
the only
Winks.
event he does? An AI thing with David fucking Sachs.
Yeah,
right?
I saw that. Yeah.
Where he's like, AI is the future. Like he might as well be saying A1, like Linda, what's her face, McMahon, right? A1 is the future. He has no idea. What are you talking about? But David Sachs is there, like, I know. And just completely taking advantage of this. Stephen Miller is like, I know you're mad, Mr. President. Let's take it out of the brown people again. And he's like, yeah. You know, I mean, like, it is a cycling, churning, fucking psychopathic, you know, vicious cycle. And you know, something will have to break it. There is a stage 5.
I added Bex. I made you a mod for over here. Not that I'll be here a lot. And
rupture.
Sticker
And
Mina.
you know,
Why was I going to call you Sticker Chick?
that
Mina.
is when
Winks, you are too. Just in case somebody would get rowdy over here. You never know.
Completely falls apart, and they either get help
I didn't have mods.
Something worse.
Wow. So I'm sure Hi-Fi, we're going to start showing some clips here in a minute, and we'll introduce the segment that we're going to show highlights from. But for those of you who need to understand better what Jim is talking about and need kind of cinematic tools, rewatch Judgment at Nuremberg, because it illustrates how people were targeted who were different or handicapped in some way. And it's just really, really important to understand that this playbook exists. We've been writing about it and talking about it on this show for many years now, and it's quite tragic to see all of the things that we talked about and wrote about
You
and
know what they
predicted
call them?
actually happening. Yeah. What's that?
They call them asocials.
Always rather. You got to wait for the gems.
Asocials.
That's the part what happens with
and the
RadPod.
work shy.
It's sitting and waiting for the
you're
gems.
work shy, right? Anybody hear about this means testing for Medicaid, where you have to be able to work in order to be on disability?
What's
scary stuff?
Let me find
The fuck again. So by the way, and I'm gonna make it scary because combine these two things.
You are TWTME, right?
Combine the fact that they just cut $1.16 trillion from Medicaid and SNAP.
Yeah.
And now they have an executive order in place that mandates that law enforcement needs to go around and take homeless people off the street and people who have mental care issues. Where the hell do you think they're getting their mental care from? From Medicaid.
Breath, are
Right?
you
Right.
Why you
TWTME?
think there's going to
Okay.
be less homeless people on the streets after you cut off all their
I want to make sure before I made you a
Medicaid and
moderator.
their
I
SNAP
didn't want to mod
benefits?
somebody
Are they going to be healthier? Or
all
no?
wild.
What this is doing is
There we go. Mods are set.
intentionally
Perfect.
creating human wreckage that this fucking Palantir
Mods
$200
are
billion
set for over here.
ice monstrosity can sweep in
Yes,
and,
Kyle, you're right.
you know, get the riffraff out of society and put them in camps. We have seen
Well,
this shit before.
yeah, I'm going to make it even scarier because all I'm hearing as you're
You're gonna
talking
smile?
is Arbeit macht frei.
What?
Like literally,
No,
that's what
that's
I'm hearing.
literally it.
The words
That's
on
exactly
the
it.
gates at the camps.
Oh, okay.
High Fidelity. You want to say something before we start talking about the episode we're going to feature?
Yeah, I just
I
have
don't
a
even know who
question
they
for the
interviewed,
American
Winks.
people.
I have not watched them in so long. Hi, what would bears do? This
Will
is
the country do what Germany
cowbell
did
called.
during the
These are my
Holocaust and just look
LOL
the other
cows.
way while the bodies pile up? Or will you do something before it even starts?
Except they have.
That remains to be seen.
Well,
Hi, Dan.
it started.
Bird.
There, it's already started. So
yeah, I guess
I don't think
as an LA resident,
Let me pause real quick. The guy on the right is not allowed on Twitter. He has had, how many accounts would you say he's had, Winks? Like, what, about 30 or 40? Like, he's been suspended off of Twitter because he violently threatens people so bad with like violent threats. Like, he'll talk about knives, things he wants to do sexually. Like, he is really violently and fucking gross. Like, he is nasty. So he can't even be on Twitter, but he has his podcast. He has a Substack now. Like, he is actually banned off of what's that site where LinkedIn? He is banned from using LinkedIn because he harassed people from LinkedIn, and now he harasses people on Substack. Like, he trolls them. Like, he is just a nasty, nasty guy. But I was looking up how many followers Jim has. Like, they're LOL cows, but of a highest degree in the LOL cow field because they actually have a following. Like, it's fucking weird as fuck. Okay, what did she say? Mock buck fry? I don't know. Let me. She's Heidi.
then I can assure you of that.
well,
It's fucking scary. I know people that I am afraid to call.
yeah, right. Yeah. So this is global, as you guys know, and we've been interviewing people who understand.
Just Jim Stewartson on Twitter has 131,000 followers. And Heidi has 47,000 followers. She's a little lower. Jim took off because of his QAnon stuff. But yeah, they have a decent following.
The global nature of this war that
At
we
least
find
100. There
ourselves
you go.
in. And so we brought back Dietmar Pichler, a disinformation analyst from Vienna, to walk us through what happened in Ukraine this week, because it was very alarming to me to see what I deem controlled opposition coming out of the woodwork to gang up on Zelensky, and it smelled
so
very
fucking
much like
gross.
what we
High
saw
fives the vilest foul of them.
when Biden was president, and the opportunities that were used to take him down. So we had Dietmar explain all this to us. Episode 143. Please watch it. And High Fidelity, can you play the first clip?
Ukrainian civil society, despite the war, is still very active. It's completely different from
Talk to you
Russia.
later,
The
Waymaker.
civil
Thank
society
you.
is very strong, no matter which president is in power, because Ukraine is a democracy. It's not a country where everything works perfect. This is why they want to join the European Union to accelerate reforms. So this is also the reason for the protests, because the protesters say, first of all, we need to fight the corruption.
I looked away for the second. Who the fuck's this guy, Winks? Do you know? Dimitri? Wait, let me look at the video. Disinfo Resilience Network. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Jesus.
We need independent institutions to fight the corruption without government control. And we do not want this to jeopardize our EU membership action plan.
Yeah, thanks for that high five. Play clip number. Play the second one too, if you have it. We're running a little bit behind.
Let me check and see here, Tommy, like what their numbers are. I mean, Kyle, they had 296 views and it was streamed on 4 days ago. So I would have to look at their channel. Let me pull it up just to see what their numbers look like as I continue to play this.
What the government says about these institutions, that there was an infiltration by people close to Russia or Russian agents, and that the whole processes were not, that something was not all right. And the Ukrainians say, okay, if something is not all right, why not fix it? Why should we put the whole system in question? Yeah, and the recent reaction by the government, by President Zelensky, was that he said, okay, I heard you, we heard your protests, we understand, and we will fix this. So we will, there is going to be an independent body, and I'm quite optimistic, especially because of Ukrainian civil society, and I hope also the government will work together and they will find a solution. This is the reason why I said 95% domestic policy, of course, because it's important for the European Union access and also for the international partners, including the United States, because when they support Ukraine economically, but also military-wise, the fight against corruption is very important, because you want to know where your support goes.
To me, this is where podcasts are just so beneficial. You get somebody like Dietmar on who understands this stuff, can walk you through it, and you're not on Twitter kind of, scroll.
The thing that's interesting, I went back to even their oldest videos, is they've never like hit a stride. It's been consistent, kind of like within that couple hundred, the highest maybe 900. Like they've never like broken anything above that. Like, so they're kind of stuck in the rut that they've been in. I don't know.
Through the shit show, it's really important to understand the nuances of this stuff. So super grateful to have him on. Do you guys have any other comments, or should we show another clip?
No, I mean, I think it's if you look at the pictures in Ukraine, what you see is a protest, a peaceful protest about a perfectly legitimate subject. And then what you saw was the president of that country say, "Oh, my goodness, I heard your protest, and not only do I hear it, I'm going to take action and fix it right now." And then he did. Oh my goodness. Geez, everything's falling apart in Ukraine. It's a fucking God damn, that sounds so beautiful to me. That sounds like the best possible thing in the world, but yet these motherfuckers want to try and turn it into some kind of bad thing.
You're not wrong, Kyle.
Exactly.
You're not wrong.
Democracy. They did a thing, and then we objected, and we were clear about it, and then they heard us, and then they fixed it. Holy crap! It's like the best story of all time.
Heidi's an enabler. She enables the behavior around her.
They will turn. That's how they turned Ghislaine Maxwell into a victim, right?
Right.
Is just taking one thing and telling you
she knows who and what Hi-Fi does, and she has enabled it the entire time. And Jim's not as abusive as Hi-Fi, but he has done some nasty stuff too.
Yeah, it's including it's incredible.
Fail docs, as he puts out.
I found it interesting though, because she
enables it all.
Doing this work, you get a jaundiced eye, and you don't always believe people who they say they are, because you have to take a very long view and let people reveal themselves. And so I saw a lot of big reveals this week, and in a way it's not comforting, but assuring. I feel some assurance in just kind of like stepping back and letting people reveal themselves. So, but it was quite interesting because, I had Dietmar come on the show because he immediately quote tweeted Marjorie Taylor Greene, who of course was like, oh, yeah.
Well,
That is all it takes to get on their show is do a good tweet. That's how they got that Yanni guy or whatever comes in. He did a great tweet thread. Come on our show.
No, got it.
I
Yeah, go
mean,
ahead, Jim.
the loyalty test that is going to be asked of these people to flip on this, like some of these podcasters.
Back, you're right.
even,
Hi-Fi
like,
is the Doug around here. Yep.
how,
a great analogy.
I don't know how they pull this trick off. I mean,
Yep.
I've seen them
Fighting a war. It's an
turn themselves
inelegant war.
upside down a lot of shit. But no,
Yeah.
actually, Ghislaine Maxwell is okay. Is
Yeah.
the victim here?
Yeah.
Boy, man. I mean,
I don't know.
It made me, just because you were saying people are going to be telling on themselves.
Yeah.
This is the moment where people are like pulling their pants down and giving themselves a wedgie. Like, okay, all right. I've just been doing this the whole time, and look, okay. And then they're just going to go back to doing the same fucking thing. But
Hey, Winks, I meant to ask you, do you think that Heidi has been overseas, like saying she's a refugee because she's helping that Ukrainian Heidi work on her movie? Like maybe Heidi's been helping her producer try to get inroads to get it out to the public. Like that's my working theory. Like just something I was thinking about. Like that's why she's been overseas so much. Like she's helping Ukrainian Heidi get her movie off the ground or like working with her. Like I was just thinking about that. That was rolling around in my head. Like I was thinking about it.
at least, we'll know, right? You can't.
Yeah.
Well,
you can't get past that.
Charlie Kirk showed the way, right? He's like, I trust the president on the Epstein case. he just flat out said it. I trust the cult leader, no matter what happens. Like it's all been shown to be lies.
Listen, Charlie Kirk is the leader of the Hitler Youth. Like you can't. He has to. He is the one, And by the way, fuck that guy so badly, man.
Oh my God.
Hi-Fi. Okay, tough guy.
A couple of days ago, he was like, "Oh, women don't get to vote and shit." Like I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
He's also doesn't like Martin Luther King or anything, like.
If I recall correctly, if you look up Turning Point USA and sex scandal, a lot of things come up.
Oh, including the president, right? Including
I wish that I wish that we could come on week after week and talk about rainbows and unicorns. Instead, we have to talk about all these awful people. It's just so bad.
Actually, can I talk about a film?
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it.
So I did guess right. She's a producer on that film. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. I guessed right. I didn't even look into it that far. Okay.
This is
It's
the
a
time
short
in which
film.
we live. Yeah.
It's the time in which we live. And I don't necessarily suggest people watch this film, but I want them to know that this film exists and understand the message of this film. And the film is called Salo, and it's by a fellow named Pier Paolo Pasolini. And when he made it as an indictment of the conservatives.
You don't want people to watch that.
No, I don't want people to watch that.
But be clear.
No. Listen to the story for a second.
Okay, but you weren't clear about it. And I
He did say I don't want people to watch it. Shut up, Jim. It's not your story.
Please
don't watch this movie.
But understand that the movie shows scenes of depravity that are absolutely horrifying and traumatically dissociative, and it will break you.
So is that what it's designed to do? Is that why you're bringing it up?
Well, no, because it was an indictment of the Conservative Party because he made this movie about members of the Conservative Party. And He exaggerated things, but the accusation was there. And the accusation hits home so hard with the fascists in Italy that one night, Mr. Pasolini was brutally murdered for this film. So,
so this is the part
just
where
know
we
what
get to
this
the
is.
levity. This is the part
Oh,
where we get
yeah.
to the levity. This is the rainbows and unicorns part. So anyway, but what I
What is
think is
happening?
amazing is back to our episode 143 that I'd like to see another
This is
clip
why
from.
I can't take
You've
watching
got a
them much anymore.
country that is fighting for its very survival in the middle of a war that still will go out and peacefully protest when they feel that there is something wrong, and a president that will, as Jim was saying and what Dietmar was saying, will hear that and then make it right. I mean, it's just incredible. So let's see another clip.
I am going to need to smoke after this.
Is that a lot of these, like you called it, the pro-Russian bandwagon, they tried to exploit it. They framed the protests anti-Zelensky protests. But when they do this, they don't understand how Ukraine works. Because since 2014, I was several times in Kiev and in other cities. Every time I was there, I saw a rally, and it was about something specific always. I saw a rally for small enterprises, so they have better, I don't know, some improvement policies about small enterprises. I saw a rally about the situation of the Crimean Tatars. It was, of course, aimed at Russia, not at Ukraine, because Ukraine has not done anything quite wrong in that regarding that. I saw a rally about eating less meat. So they have a vegan movement, they have pro-animal movement there, yeah, like we see in the West, no difference. And I saw a rally against some tax reform, which was in front of the tax office. And then there is about the unions. And you have everything, and it's specific. And what I want to say about this is it's not a rally against President Zelensky in the sense that they want him removed. I mean, there's also opposition, but these are people where many of them, I'm 100% sure, voted for President Zelensky. I also asked a lot of them, yeah, I voted for him. I don't think he's a bad president, but this is not good. I don't support this. We need to take care. And we are also not sure who is influencing him, that he made this decision that we are not fond of. And so this is the reality. But what they show in Russia today, and what they show in all these pro-Russian troll farms and sources, there is an uprising against Zelensky. And finally, because what is the conclusion? They want to frame the protesters pro-Russian. And this is completely crazy, because they are, I mean, you see a lot of different people. You see veterans there, you see young students there, you see people that look more like punks, but you also see people in uniforms, very patriotic people who fought at the front lines. So all these people have in common that they absolutely are not fond of the Russian invasion. Nobody is in Ukraine. And so this is completely misleading. And what they want is that they want to secure the European path. This is completely the opposite of the path towards Russia, of course.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. Just like Georgia, just like Romania, just like Albania, they don't want to link up with Russia. They want
Jim
to
looks
move toward the
so
EU.
bored.
This is the fight over and over and over again. Putin's been trying to weaken the EU, weaken NATO through all of his proxies. And once he is neutralized, as I always say, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the puppet strings go slack. And yeah, so
we'll see. I have no idea what will happen in Russia when that dude goes, but they're gonna be pretty.
Well, I think back to what Tomas Ilves told us about.
They let Hi-Fi talk a lot more. He's not raising his hand like a little child anymore. I wonder if they got embarrassed the way we talked about it, or if there was a little meeting behind stage, because he's not like doing his little finger waggles or like, hey, I want to talk. Like he's a little bit more of a member of the show now. Bravo, Hi-Fi. You get to talk now,
If you
buddy.
want to understand Putin, read Mario Puzo's The Godfather. And what happens when the Godfather dies? There's a gang war. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what if
Yeah.
gangs had
Yeah.
nukes?
a gang war over 8,000 nukes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that it's not any old gang war. When the
No.
prize is you can threaten the world with extinction.
Yeah. And on that happy note, Jim, you are continually in your work
Oh,
showing people the way, showing people
no,
what can be done. You address these heavy issues and
no.
the things as you see them. And also, you've been um, using AI a lot and asking for solutions, like showing what's going on and asking for solutions. Is
He
there
talks to
anything
Grok.
that has struck you lately that could be useful for people? Because again, this stuff is heavy, it's
Oh,
dark,
Hi-Fi
it's
wants to talk.
truly, truly
He's gonna jump out of his
grim and
skin.
awful. But with that type of corruption, there's got to be some opportunities to overthrow this regime and these guys, or unplug them, or do something that actually begins to allow the good guys to start winning. Because this is just, I feel like it feels so paralyzing when you think about the enormity of it.
I don't know why
Yeah,
that killed me, Beck. He's in
I've
the middle of a war. What do you expect?
I've
You're right.
found
My
AI to
bad, Bex.
be
My bad.
it's become interesting in a way
I'll
that
let
and
it slide.
helpful that it wasn't before. I caution people, like, it is not intelligence at all. It is a search engine is the best way to think of it. Um, Basically, you're searching for the document that you want by writing your own document and hoping that it can sort of construct it out of the
Hey,
data
Mer.
that it has collected. And it's getting to the point where you can start to
I thought I
legitimately
made you.
ask
I
it
was sure I
things
made you a mod, Mer.
by
I must
asking
not
it
have.
to
I
build
think I
a
tried to
response
find you,
to a
but I
problem
couldn't. Just in
that
case
can
things
be
get
super helpful.
raucous
And
over here, because
the way
Mer
I've
is the
used it
best.
mainly is just, like I
I
said,
thought
as
for
a
sure I
search
did.
engine to understand how these kinds of things have happened, because we are not the first country something like this has happened to. Donald Trump
Mer
is
is like the
not the
band
first
hammer. She sees shit,
narcissistic
anything goes down.
dictator that has taken over a country. And so, to Heidi's point, I've been doing a lot of research.
Yeah, we're watching
and
the Three
some using
Stooges.
AI
Mer,
and
you
some
missed
just doing
so
research
much.
on,
We
what are the
hold
resistance
on, let me pause real
strategies?
quick.
How
We played Nana Dahmer interviewing Sherry and Stormtrooper. You missed it. It was glorious. It was gloriously bad, but yeah, we played Heidi interviewing Stormtrooper and Sherry. So that was something.
did these things, finally come down, and what were some of the groups? I don't know if this is a great example for us, but I found them super inspiring. Was the White Rose movement in Nazi Germany, and what was mostly inspiring about them is it
What does
was
this
just
have to do with
how
him talking to
far
AI?
into it
What the fuck
was,
is
and how
happening?
dark it was at the time, and what the consequences are if you let it go. Their crime was having put out six pamphlets
Yeah, Mer, you're going to want to watch that part. It's funny.
said that Hitler was a bad guy and he shouldn't be in power, and the Jews were not the devil, and what the hell. And on there was a brother and sister. The sister actually went to the University of Munich, and they were at her school together, and they tried to throw some pamphlets down a stairwell so the students could find it. And a custodian said, "I see you. You're under arrest." And the reason for that was because everybody was the Gestapo then.
Yeah.
The custodian was Gestapo. That's who was running everything. There was no difference between the
They do
state
need a big nap.
and and education or anything
As Beck
else.
pointed
And,
out, they're in a war.
and so
it's war's
they
rough.
were executed. They were
Taken its toll.
guillotined by the Gestapo 4 days later.
Unbelievable.
But the writing is inspiring and
Heidi's got bacon earrings
brilliant and
Jim's got a
just
flag hat on. Things
smells
are rough.
like youth
Hi-Fi's choking on his weed.
not fucking giving up on freedom
Yeah.
and democracy and decency. And so if you ever have a chance to look up the pamphlets of the White Rose movement, they're really quite a remarkable artifact of people. And I use them as both a cautionary tale, because we don't want to get to that point where pamphlets might get you beheaded.
Yeah.
But there is no intervention between us and that.
Yeah.
That's coming to help. That's coming to fucking save us. The only intervention is going to be us. And the only way we...
Jim, what did you do during the ICE protests? Because you were close. What did you do? Did you leave your house and go down and protest with everyone? Because Lola was out in the streets, albeit in her dinosaur costume, was a little bit dangerous, but she was out there. What did you do, Jimmy? Anything? No, I didn't think so. You tweeted through it.
Get other people to understand what that picture looks like, and that's where we are, is by sharing information.
Fucking bum.
Reminding people it wasn't that fucking long ago. You don't have to go dig in the scrolls of the old sea scrolls to know what happened in World War II, to know what happened in America during World War II and the Japanese internment camps.
Right.
Learn something. That's all.
Well,
I mean, we are facing the grandchildren of Nazis, literally.
What is really important about the story you just shared, Jim, is that I always go back to what Ann Nelson, who wrote Shadow Network and also wrote the Red Orchestra.
8 minutes of these
she
people
is
left. Can do this,
you know,
guys. We can do this.
she had
8
done
minutes.
so much work around people who, the Red Orchestra is about people who led the resistance in Berlin to Hitler in the 30s. Incredible. An American woman factored into that deeply. But, you know, somebody who managed to live through it, because they did lose a lot of people along the way, said if only we had 100,000 more people, we could have beat this guy. There was time. We could have done it. We knew who he was, and we could have done it. And the thing is, we've been reporting, we're not the only ones. We've been telling you who these people are, what their ties are, what their global ties are. And America is a place where you can easily find 100,000 more allies. And honestly, I think we're about to, as Jim and Hi-Fi were saying earlier, I think we're about to potentially find some in the MAGA cult. So it's going to be up to us how we handle that and deal with that. And as opposed to turning them away and calling them morons, which has never done any good for anybody. It's understanding what Jim has said from the very beginning. Nobody brainwashes themselves. This is about coercive control. This is about mesmerism. We've talked about this over and over and over again, cult dynamics. And, you know, I think that we all should be within our own communities looking for those people and somehow trying to give them you know, a hand up and out, because you know, we need everybody. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think it's important.
Yeah, I mean, over 4 years ago, I tried to build a thing to do that.
He sat at home.
You know, it's absolutely what's needed, but unfortunately, we are not in the world
they are so
where
obsessed with
above
brainwashing,
ground organized things like that could possibly survive. Literally, I mean, look what he got fucking Colbert canceled Like he's not. He's like
Wait, Trump got
everything
Colbert
is
canceled?
controlled. So we are.
That's news to
One of
me.
the things that I have been doing is, we need to start thinking about decentralized communications and systems. We need to
Yeah.
start thinking about doing things like, funding help for people, whistleblowers, whatever, with crypto. And I hate to fucking say it. I hate it. It's death. But we are in a war. We're in a war. We don't have fucking purity tests in a war. We use the tools that are available. That's where we are right now. It's not about me saying go make money with crypto. What I'm saying is, while we have the room to be organizing and talking to each other about how do we survive, what's coming, and create underground railroads to create safe zones for people and to organize and plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that, but I agree, Murr. Like Trump wouldn't get Colbert canceled. Like late night TV has been dying a slow death for a long time. Like in my opinion, like I just like Stephen Colbert. I think he was better in the old days, like on Comedy Central. Like I just don't watch late night TV. I know a lot of people like it, but like I kind of like real type news. Like I like Jon Stewart's format and like those type of things. But like late night TV to me, like maybe in the old days, but I think it's just kind of outlived its format. But like Trump being solely responsible for it, that sounds a little fakeish, news-ish to me, and there has to be a little bit more to the story. Let's see, but it's funny because Trump gave funding to South Park, and then South Park did an episode making fun of him with the Paramount purchase. Okay, all right, thanks, Nash. Oh, hi, Nash, by the way.
For things, because it's going to get real. We
Crypto
should
is a
do it
Ponzi
now.
type scheme.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And
I do.
And I have a thing I need to cover about Jim too. I haven't got to yet. It's called Project 89. And Jim you could hear the drool coming through his mouth, talking to his old friend about crypto in this weird ass game. It's hard to explain right now, but I have the space. And Jim was like, how much money can you make from that? And it involves crypto. So crypto's good when Jim thinks he can make a little money off of it. And it involves like this whole AI thing and everything. But I have the space and I'm going to probably deal with it here coming up, probably over on this channel. But yeah, crypto is bad. It's a Ponzi scheme.
And we need to do it now while we have the chance. And so one of the things that I have been doing using AI is just doing things like, well, what does a legal document look like that you could lobby somebody to, get funding to run an influence campaign that might,
I found an
all
article
kinds
on
of
the Paramount thing
actual
here. Posted from
concrete shit that
Vanity
most
Fair.
people don't realize they
If
can
anybody's interested,
just make up now. You can do it. You really can. Like we have got to start being
never mind.
resourceful.
Let me find a internet
we have
archive
to be
article of that.
creative, and we have to be brave.
Yeah, and we have to absolutely be thinking about platforms that are not owned by the enemies of democracies everywhere, because that's not working out so well. High Fidelity, we have one more clip and we have a couple more minutes. What's on your mind?
I was just thinking, that I'm constantly getting fundraising emails from the DNC. And I know there's a lot of wealthy people in the DNC. I know you've got Pritzker, you've got Newsom. There's wealth there. There's resources that could be tapped. And if these people really, really want to save the country, they need to figure out how to get as many bodies possible into Washington, D.C. And really, we need to consider a national strike, and that should be a message. But I'm not hearing that from anyone, and I'm not seeing anyone step up and open their wallets. So I don't know what that tells you.
Well, no, let me explain.
Let Jim explain. Hi-Fi.
The DNC is a empty fucking husk, like worthless vessel.
Don't hold back. Tell us how you feel.
I listen. Ken Martin is doing a brand report and a fucking post-mortem on 2024. What the fuck are you doing? He's in the newspaper and on TV talking about this big brand report and this fucking post-mortem.
Hey, mac and cheese.
Like he's doing a fucking.
I put the archive article down there for Vanity Fair if anybody wants to read about the Stephen Colbert stuff that we were all talking about. Because Jim certainly was not presenting it.
Marketing campaign for
we're in a war.
Big old
We're in a
tires or something like that. What branch manager dipshit is? What is he doing? What the
We're in a
fuck?
war. We're in a war.
And I'm sorry, I'm not holding back because it's life or death shit. And this fucking guy and Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand and the rest of these fucking morons who are stuck in establishment alternate reality, which is just as bad a cult as any of the other ones. Like, we're fucked. We need a revolt. That's why they wanted to get rid of David Hogg. Why I didn't like him. I don't give a shit what you think of David Hogg. He had energy. He had ideas. People wanted to follow him. Stop being such pussies. We do not have time for purity tests or is Mom Donnie a man? God, fuck. It's war. And so I have nothing to do with the Democrats or the DNC or any of that bullshit until they clean the goddamn house. Thank you for letting me have that TED Talk.
Do you remember that time when they ignored the information war and we ended up a fascist country?
Jeez.
Yeah, I do.
I'm old enough to remember that fucking shit.
I'm not cool. Hi-Fi, one last clip, or do you have an outro for us?
I'm so proud of the Ukrainian societies and our European brothers and sisters there, because we see it's a vibrant democracy. Despite the war, everybody is on the street. And I forgot to mention, because there's so many things to mention, the media, very critical media. We have a lot of media outlets who reported critical, and even a media outlet that is connected to the president's bureau, because it's part of this big project United 24, even they published some critical things about it, and this is a very good sign for Ukraine. So if they manage to solve this issue, then we have then we have a lot of materials to fact check if anybody claims that Ukraine is a dictatorship, because after what we saw the last days, it's absolutely, I mean, the people protesting on the street, this is what the Kremlin is very much afraid about. They have a problem exploiting it, because on one hand, they like when somebody says something against Zelensky. On the other hand, people on the streets in the war, everybody understands this would be impossible on that range in Russia.
Now I have a treat to end us, because Taylor, I'm glad you showed up. Taylor sent me, and we played this on his show the other night. Hi, Hippo. Oh, you just showed up. Perfect timing too. I'm going to end with Nana Dahmer's. Actually, it's Heidi. It's just Samuel L. Jackson really liked Heidi Kudo, so he recorded part of her erotic, steamy novel. So I'm just going to play a 7-minute clip to take us out before I end here and do my stream tonight. I have a little bit of time before it, so I'm going to play that here. Let me connect to my Bluetooth speaker. So we'll hear Heidi Kuda's erotic novel before we leave here. Let me connect to my speaker. Connect. Take us out, since that was so bad. Thank you, Ad, for stopping this trash. Now we get to hear Okay, done. All right. Let me go to my messages from Taylor. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right. I lied. I'm sorry. The first one's 12 minutes long, but it's funny, and that'll take me to 6 o'clock, which is perfect. Give me 2 hours before my stream tonight with Quacks and Steph tonight. Well, lead the way, Jim. Okay, here we go. Taylor, thank you so much, and our Australian friend for providing this.
I was as hollow and empty as the spaces between the stars. Raymond Chandler, Chapter 4, Lover Number 4, formerly Number 1. I've been separated from the super ex-husband for 4 months.
Can everybody hear it? Volume good? I'm sorry, Mur. It has to be done. I just need to know if everybody can hear. I know there's a little delay between restream and you guys over on YouTube, like the stream. Just if everybody can let me know if you can hear it. Okay, great.
Living in the first of 4 Santa Monica apartments I'd have in the span of a few years. I hadn't left a forwarding address. The Super X earned a couple 150s, and he needed time to get well. I was working as both a Los Angeles Times columnist and a news producer at a local Fox affiliate, and I was wary of the assignment desk getters calling me and saying about the 911 calls. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fucking fine. Please leave me alone.
Yeah, I'm fucking fine.
Super X needed to find his own path to wellness. I learned the hard way. We are not here to fix other people. I sought refuge near Big Blue. That's when I met lover number 4, formerly number 1, Rex, the CEO BFG. I was hired to direct a documentary in Germany, and he was along for the ride. My sister came to the beach to take care of my kids so I could make the trip. My Super X's illness had taken a toll on my health, kicking my inherited transgenerational trauma and anxiety into even higher gear. Alcohol was no longer a salve. I quit drinking years earlier. The all-access pass that I'd been granted by the Hollywood nightclub community as its resident scribe came with a lifetime of free alcohol. And I had to learn to just say no. I didn't want to be the kind of mom who had alcohol on her breath as she read her children their bedtime stories. I quit drinking for them. It was tough, I was thirsty, and I sought help. But their father struggles left me vulnerable to sudden panic attacks, and making it through each day was a fight. I had no idea how I'd survive in Germany. Oh, Deutschland, Land o' Lab. The last place I thought I'd find love. I sure wasn't looking for it. I was there to direct a film, and besides, men had often been liabilities in my life, and I wasn't trying to pick up any more bad habits. Enter the CEO BFG. Rex said he first laid eyes on me in the airport, and he told me later it was love at first sight. I have no idea what he saw, because what I was then was a recently separated mother calming anxiety with Xanax, in no mood for light chatter. We'd flown first class Virgin Atlantic, and I spent most of the time knocked out on meds. I didn't see him clearly until the next day when we transferred on a hopper flight to Frankfurt. He sat next to me and started asking questions about my life. Turned out we had a few things in common. We'd both been shadowed by depressives, and we both had 2 children we adored. He loved Fox, Bletch, and he thought it was amusing that I was a news producer who didn't have a television. I explained I got enough reality on the job. He was a so-called conservative. I was an angry liberal. Back then, you could agree to disagree. Author's note. Back then, local Fox affiliates still had some autonomy from the worst of what News Corps was pushing as long as the station was getting ratings. My work got ratings. I told this man things I didn't tell most people. I told him I was estranged from my parents. During my separation, my parents weren't exactly supportive. They're old school Germans who believed in sticking it out to the bitter end, even if it meant death by axe. I told Rex
Even
I
if it
couldn't take
meant
any more
death by
pain in my life.
axe? What?
By the time we landed in Germany, Rex started his full court press. It was something to see in action. Most men throw out a line or two, and after I ignore their advances, they retreat in defeat. But he saw something in me he wanted, and like a corporate raider from the 80s, he was unstoppable. I had been back to the Heimatland in over a decade, and Germany had turned into a damn fine country. Being a first generation German, I'd grown up with plenty of guilt. But seeing the country today and how it had evolved into a place filled with people who were kind and eco-conscious was truly inspiring. We were staying in a pristine small town in the north part of the country. It had a river running through it, and with the Christmas holiday approaching, the town was lit up and sparkly. There was no denying it was a romantic setting, but I was there to work, so I did what I always do, and I focused on the work. By the fourth night of Rex's relentless flirting, I looked at him across the table of a Greek restaurant and said, I'm not gonna fuck you. I'm doing business with you, and how could you respect me in the morning? He said,
Well,
I get
then.
that. But as soon as the words tumbled out of my mouth, I realized I wanted this man to hold me. I needed to be held at that exact moment by this man. I walked outside to have a cigarette with one of the company managers. Rex followed me into the cold German night, put his arm around me, and said, the kids are going to love their new mother. I looked up at him and said, who are you? But his arm felt good around me. He felt strong. He felt like he meant it, and I felt my heart of stone beginning to melt so far from home. I got up early the next morning at 5:30 a.m. and went down for breakfast. He was up early too, getting ready for a day of meetings. He'd been out drinking till 2 a.m. Did you hear the bells chiming? He asked. Yes, I said, thinking how romantic it was to be in a town where the bells still tolled by hand. And then he said those fateful words, first time I ever wanted to bomb a church. And that
There's
was
the
it.
line.
I was sprung. It was such a punk rock thing.
That's it. I was sprung. It was such a punk rock line.
And it was the last thing I expected to hear from a man in a three-piece suit. I whispered, I wanted to call you last night. His warm brown eyes lit up. Why didn't you? I wanted you to hold me last night. I would have been there, he said. And we both knew right then we'd be together. We filmed all day, and there was a Christmas party later that night. For the first time in ages, I got dressed thoughtfully. I looked at myself in the mirror, trying to determine who I'd become. I hadn't worn makeup outside of work in years. Birkenstocks were my shoe of choice. Who was I? I've been in survival mode for so long, I really didn't know how to answer that question. I'd been in a car accident 2 months before I'd left for Europe, and I should have been dead. A woman on a cell phone knocked me and my daughter into a retaining wall at 70 miles per hour on the 405 freeway. I hit the wall head on. My daughter recovered quickly, although she still has anxiety in cars. But my doctor told me I'd either be in pain for the rest of my life or my back would be better in 2 months. Thanks to angels I've never met and a fierce chiropractor, 2 months to the day of the accident, the pain went away. So for the hell of it, I'd thrown heels in my suitcase. I had no use for them over the last few years, but I was going to wear them that night. I put on a sass and
Kyle.
vibe tunic that revealed my tattoos and most of my chest and a pin-striped bondage skirt.
Oh my God. Hymanland. It's too much. It's too much.
I figured I'm in Germany directing a documentary film and about to have sex with a man I barely know. May as well turn it out. A winter storm was ripping outside as we drove into the countryside far away from the city. The party was at a barn which had been turned into a restaurant and nightclub. I walked into the room and sat down at the nearest table. I felt good, but nervous. Everyone was drinking but me. Rex made a beeline directly to me and said, I know it's wrong, but I'm going to stare at your tits all night long. Thank you, I said.
I know it's wrong, but I'm going to stare at your tits all night. I know it's wrong. And she's like, that's okay. What?
After everyone had eaten, they pumped up the music, and Rex slipped his hand into mine and took me toward the dance floor. I stalled. I hadn't been on a dance floor since I quit drinking, and he could see my distress. I'd never danced sober. I said, there are all these Germans. He said, what Germans? I don't see any Germans. I only see you, and you're beautiful. They were playing Snoop Dogg's Gin and Juice, and we began moving slowly to the beat. He held me, and I felt his strength, felt he had hands that could sustain me. And suddenly, there was no one else in that room but the two of us. I never wanted to fuck anybody more in my life than at that moment. I'm leaving, I said. I'll come to your room, he said. I'll be waiting. 2 hours later, I heard the tap. I opened up the door, and there he was. He smelled like beer and cigarettes. He smelled like a man. He smelled good. We agreed to go up to his room. He'd scored the only room with a full-size bed in the hotel, which in Germany just means 2 twin beds pushed together. We were 2 people, serial monogamists, who were about to have sex. We got naked, got under the covers, and I slid my hand toward him and groped in the dark for his cock.
Oh, Heidi.
I heard myself say out loud, his dick was broad and big just like him. He took off his glasses, and I'll be damned if gray-haired Clark Kent didn't just morph into a silver fox Superman. With great sincerity, he asked me, are you sure you're ready for this? Fuck me now, I demanded. And he did. Insert fireworks here. Moments after we first had sex, and we both...
Murr, I bet you won't talk about me dipping my chips in ketchup again now, will you? This is payback.
...experienced the kinetic explosion that would be our lovemaking from that day forward. He turned to me and said, I'm only going to ask you to do 2 things. Kick Xanax and take those parents back. I thought to myself, this guy's fucking balls. It was already my plan to get off Xanax. I'd worked so hard cleaning up my liver after I quit drinking, and although I'd only been on Xanax for 2 months, a combo of the car accident and the aforementioned emotional bits, I knew I'd start the wean when I got back stateside. But take my parents back. Ooh, did he think he was? We just fucked once. I told you I can't take any more pain. I said, they're parents, he said. That's what they do. They throw you pain, but that doesn't mean they don't love you. The truth is, I'd been missing them so much while I was in Germany. I spoke German fluently, and the people of the country treated me like a homegirl. Besides, Germans make great Americans, and my parents were great Americans. I looked at Raider Rex and said, why do you care? Because I would give anything to turn back the clock and make things right with my dad, he said. The day he died, I told him I didn't really care if he lived or died. I look back now and realize he was just a man. You still have a chance. It was the holidays, and I'd planned to spend them alone with my kids. And it was the first year I wasn't going to get any of my mom's Waynax Stollen, a legendary German fruit bread she made by hand that has to be the 8th wonder of the world. So with Rex holding me, I dialed their number on my cell phone. They'd lived in the same house in San Francisco that I'd grown up in, and the number hadn't changed in 50 years. My mom answered. It's me, I said. Calling from Germany. Who? Sonny.
Okay, guys, I have one more short one. Then I'm definitely going, because that will really be 6 o'clock. I'm sorry, Mur. I'm sorry. One more short one.
Go straight ahead. It's your fucking life. Pennywise, straight ahead. Chapter 7. Lover number 2.
This is 9 Inch Nailed.
I sat in my car trying to get a grip. The only thing that could keep me from drinking was Pennywise. I looked at my phone and saw they were playing in San Diego that night. I knew I was too fragile to make the drive, but I could take a train. I texted the Hermosa Beach Band's bass player, Randy Bradbury, who put me on the guest list. I was shaking so hard because everything I'd worked for, everything I dedicated my career to, was being snatched away from me by zombie bullies. I was raised to believe in the team, in the beauty of teamwork. Until this day, I am so grateful to those who stuck their necks out and stood beside me in that newsroom. There were more of them than the zombie bullies, but the zombie bullies were eating people's hearts. I didn't want to be the cause of anyone else suffering, and truthfully, it was killing me. I needed some punk rock oxygen stat. I took the Surfliner train down the coast, staring out at Big Blue, trying to shake what I'd witnessed at the meeting, unkindness and narcissism, or, as an old mentor used to say, that lethal combination of mean and dumb. I know now they were just scared of the downsizing newsrooms, and those who could do everything presented a threat to the way things were. They were in denial of the technological revolution and what that might mean for their future. In retrospect, they were right to be worried. They were still shitty, though. I arrived in San Diego and I looked as lousy as I felt in my surf-naked baseball hat, sunglasses, wife-beater tank top, and ripped jeans. I was toe up from the flow up, inside, and out.
I was toe up
I
from
got
the
there
flow
when
up.
Fired was playing, one of the bands by Pennywise, drummer Byron McMackin's younger brother Jason, aka Bubba. With its hardcore chick singer shredding on stage, my nerves started to calm ever so slightly. Next up was Death by Stereo, my friends Ephraim and Dan's band, the band that turned me into a middle-aged metalhead. They sounded good. I let the warm, deep sound of Ephraim's voice envelop me as I inched my way to the side of the stage. I told myself I was going to be okay. I was going to survive this shit. I retreated into myself and felt the power of the music. I was headbanging alone in a dark corner during Anti-Flag when I heard a deep voice in my ear. You look like you could use a hug. I looked up and saw Slayer, a member of the road crew. We'd never talked, but we knew each other by sight from various backstages. I could feel tears clouding my eyes. I put my arms around him and whispered, I'm made of titanium, but I'm so fragile. Just take it, baby, he said, wrapping his arms around me. Take as much as you need. I held on to him for dear life, and he held me back for what felt like an eternity. I could feel Slayer's heart beating, a knight in metal armor coming to my emotional rescue. I have a room upstairs, he whispered, still holding me. You can let me pamper you. I've got 2 beds. You can stay in mine. Or you can stay in the one next to mine. It's whatever you want it to be. Gripping him gratefully in that dark corner, I knew exactly what I wanted it to be. Pennywise was getting ready to perform and fueled by Slayer's comfort. I found a spot right next to Randy on stage and let that punk love pour over me. I looked around and there were my friends who I'd known for 2 decades, the band wives, the roadies, my punk family. I let that music, its lyrics of positivity and strength, wash away the pain of watching a career that I'd built from scratch, stripped away by the unkind.
Taylor, are you saying you don't enjoy hearing this, 2 times in 1 week? It's great.
I suddenly felt so grateful. I no longer needed that drink. Punk rock saved my life. I watched Slayer work, protecting the band from the crowd and making sure their needs were met. I loved it because those 4 guys in Pennywise are national treasures, and seeing how hard Slayer worked to protect them made me happy. I screamed every lyric like a teenager, and it felt so good to purge myself of pain. After the set, Randy spent a half hour with me, talking to me about my fight, offering his support. I realized how blessed I was to have the guys who gave me strength year after year as my friends.
We love you, Taylor.
Randy introduced me to his brother that night. This is Sunny, and she's an artist, he said. That hit me really deep. He didn't introduce me as a news producer, but as an artist. That moment would play a big role in later decisions I would make. I hung around while Slayer finished working, talking to my friend intern who turned me on to the violinist Lindsey
it's been on
Sterling
the
that
line
night.
for a while now.
My friend Ken Seaton kept asking, why are you still here? Everyone's gone. I'm just waiting on a friend, Ken. A couple minutes later, he'd say, why are you here? Who are you waiting for?
Nash needs antibiotics.
Still waiting on a friend, Ken. After about 3 more attempts, he gave up. Pennywise is from a coastal community known as the South Bay, also known as Mouth Bay. And I knew enough to keep the playing Slayer, and I had on the DL. When Slayer was done working, we slinked up to his hotel where he made me a bubble bath. I dried off and went into his room where I saw him for the first time in the light, not some dark and shadowy backstage. Wow. He was beautiful. And all of a sudden, I got really shy. Beautiful men intimidate me. So I closed my eyes and just felt his contours. He was ripped. Hard body ripped.
Accidentally tagged.
Not visible
Oh,
to the
thank you,
naked
K2.
eye
Hey, I
under his
accidentally
Dickies,
answered you for
shorts,
mac and
and black
cheese.
tee, but tangible to the touch. He took off his clothes, revealing a beautifully sculpted, tattooed body. He put on some Trent Reznor and 9-inch nailed me. Sex with him felt like sex with the real Slayer. There it is, folks. Fucking 9-inch nail. Lord have mercy on all of our souls. Actually, fuck that. She wrote this fucking terrible book, so enjoy it. Someone has to at least... The first time I saw the band Slayer live, I realized that something existed that equaled...
The way that Owen did this so that Samuel L. Jackson's like, fuck it, she wrote this book, fucking kills me. Thank you, K2. I don't know if you heard me. And I was responding to you, Mac, whenever I said it's a lot, but I tagged K2. Oh, this is so perfect, the bot that he wrote. It is killing me.
The sheer power force of that music played live moved me so viscerally, I had a metaphorical orgasm right there on the side of the stage. This man was a beast, a true Slayer. This wasn't lovemaking. No kissing, no tenderness, just brute strength. After we were finished and I could speak again, he invited me to stay with him till morning. He was beat and so was I. I crept into the bed next to his. When I got the courage to open my eyes and look at him, it suddenly dawned on me. Your real name is Rex, I said. That's right. You're a drummer. That's right. You're a drummer in one of my favorite bands. I said, what band is that? And I told him, that's right. Fool. Oh, I'm a middle-aged groupie. So now I was fucking 2 drummers and 2 wrecks. I giggled at the absurdity of it. And then I realized I was laughing. I was experiencing joy. I wasn't feeling any pain. For the first time in weeks, I hadn't thought about work or the zombies or the decisions I was facing. The fog that had settled over my soul over the last few months had lifted, and all because this beautiful man offered me sexual healing at a Pennywise show.
There we go, folks. That was oh yeah, Owen did some great stuff. It's so hilarious. There's some funny stuff. You have to dig that all up, Taylor. Hilarious shit. I think, well, if Jim makes me mad again, I'll probably cover them a little bit more here and there. It was Winks that set this off today. Well, yesterday I saw her message, and then today I was like, all right, he really pissed me off. So I came and covered it. He did do an ARG thing for 9-inch nails. Yeah, he did. He actually did do a thing for 9-inch nails. He sure did. Yep, he did for oh, I have the whole thing that he did for 9-inch nails. I have it in my gym archive. He sure did. I have it in the Discord thing. But yeah, he did do a thing for 9-inch nails for one of their albums. Yeah. We should, yeah. Taylor, if you have more of the Samuel L. Jackson reading some chapters or whatever, we should all do like a reading of Heidi's steamy erotic novel. There's so many chapters. I have the whole Fox Undercover thing, her whole book. It's bad reading. Yeah. But thank you everybody for coming. I'm going to thank you. Yeah, I decided I was I had like a silvery gray on, and I was like, I feel like I've been wearing dull colors. I think I'm gonna go pull the red out, a little flashier summertime, and do some red. Sometimes I don't like to do red because I make a mess of it. So I was very careful today, and I didn't ding or like mess it up. So I was pretty good at it. But yeah, we could definitely do an old school space. I would love to do it. I think it would be fun. That's why I kind of separated so I could keep my goofy gym stuff over here and do my more serious conspiracy and extremism stuff I do on the other channel. So I can be a fool over here and like mess around and milk the cows or whatever, do my funny shit over here. Thank you guys. Yeah, but I'm gonna hop off here and get some dinner and take care of Hunter and make sure he has enough water so he doesn't tip the bowl. And then tonight at 8:00, I'll be over on the other channel, the 6 Degrees of Stew one, and then it'll simulcast on Twitch. And we're going to cover Ted Gunderson. You can't paint your nails, you pick it all off. Mac and cheese. I've gotten pretty good. I didn't used to be able to grow my nails either, but during the pandemic, I was like, that was my thing. I let my nails grow and I finally have nails. So I don't know. That was just my pandemic thing. I finally let them grow and I painted them. Yeah, we should, Taylor. That'd be fun. But yeah, it'll be over there, the 6 Degrees of Stew. But Ted Gunderson's he's a big piece of shit conspiracy dude. The McMartin daycare situation that happened, he helped propagate that, like that case back in the 90s, Satanic Panic, whole bunch of he's a shitbag. A lot of people fell for some of his stuff. So we're going to cover him tonight. It's like an hour-long video. And he kind of throws all his conspiracies into that. So we're going to talk about that. Thank you, Mac and Cheese. Love it. That's so nice of you. Everybody complimenting me on my nails. I think red's so flashy. I'm going to start wearing flashier colors. Everybody noticing my nails. Make a girl feel special. Okay. Well, thank you guys. And I'm going to go grab a bite to eat, take care of Hunter, see if my husband needs anything. And 8:00, if anybody wants to join us, I'll be over on 6 Degrees of Stew and simulcast on the Twitch channel too. Love you guys. Thank you. Toodaloos. And stream. And anybody watches the restream. Thank you guys too. Toodaloo, toodaloo.